Friday, October 3rd. Today, a Manitoba cabinet minister speaks out about what she says is a disturbing shift toward political violence. Health officials urge Canadians to get vaccinated after the measles death of a baby in Alberta. And expanding a Winnipeg hospital, the first phase of the multi-million-dollar project for the St. Boniface Hospital emergency room. Your Morning Winnipeg starts right now. Good morning, Manitoba. It is Friday. Happy Friday to you. We're so happy the weekend is here, and we have a lot to cover in the next 3 hours, including Joseph Bernacki, who is going to take us outside where we can explore some trails and do some really great walks and some exploration. It's called CPAWS, the Canadian Parks and Wilderness Society Manitoba chapter. They have all kinds of activities planned out over the next few months. We're going to find out a little bit more about that. But first, if you do want to go outside, what's the weather going to be like?
It's been gorgeous.
Yes.
Things are going to start to change up a little bit, but it's still going to be well above seasonal. We'll take a look outside and see. All right, 15 degrees. That's where we're sitting right now. You're waking up to some puddles, though, and some wet streets. There was some rain that rolled through last night. We'll show you where that hit. The wind's on the lighter side right now, out of the northeast. The pressure is falling, and the humidity is sitting at 93%. Yes, puddles this morning, all due to this. Showers and thunderstorms that rolled through in the early morning hours, for the most part, moving off to the east now. But you can see showing up off to the west of us. There's a little more of that activity. Some places where we've got some heavier pockets of clouds. There is still a chance of more precipitation expected throughout the day today. So just all things to kind of keep in mind. Here's a look at the futurecast to give us an idea of how things will play out. So kind of round one, that's just moving off. We still might see some scattered showers from that, but then again, the possibility there later on today. However, where it's most likely to hit, central Manitoba, it's your turn. Things could be getting pretty soggy through the afternoon and midday, continuing into the evening time. Overnight, that's pretty much off, but you can see the heavier clouds that'll be hanging around right across the entire province. Now, while the temperatures are still going to be incredibly mild for today, they will start to cool down for the weekend. And yes, we'll have these heavier clouds. Maybe still some scattered showers, but the real round of rain is likely to just settle in for Sunday, and plenty of it than expected. There you can see Sunday is going to look like a little bit of a soggy one. And even today, like I said, some scattered showers. Then the heavier clouds, showers beginning again into the evening time and carrying us through the rest of the weekend as these temperatures slowly and steadily decline back to a seasonal 14 degrees. Eventually seeing some sunshine. Starts out a little bit cooler, but by the middle to end of the week, we're seeing those temps on the rise again.
Thank you, Terry. We're hearing from the provincial government minister at the center of a political controversy. Families Minister Nahanni Fontaine says Manitoba is seeing a disturbing shift toward political violence. As CTV's Jeff Keel shows you, Fontaine says what we're seeing now is not normal.
A defiant families minister says despite fires and vandalism at her office and her cabinet colleagues, they aren't going anywhere.
And no amount of attacks will ever push us out of this.
Nahanni Fontaine's constituency office on Main Street is boarded up. It's been hit twice. This week a fire. Before that, windows were smashed. Fontaine says this is not just an attack on her, but it's also an attack on her staff being able to serve constituents in a safe way.
And it's just not normal. It's not normal that in this day and age, somebody can be so angry that they would think that political violence is the path to go down.
This comes after calls by some for the Premier to remove Fontaine from cabinet. She was caught complaining about an ASL interpreter earlier this summer. She also shared a controversial online post following Charlie Kirk's murder. But she's not the only NDP cabinet minister to have her office damaged. Over the summer, there have been multiple fires and windows broken at Addictions and Homelessness Minister Bernadette Smith's office as well.
It's taken, a toll on mental health with our staff, with Minister Fontaine and I.
Fontaine points out she and Smith are the first First Nations women in cabinet in Manitoba history.
Women politicians have been particularly targeted.
Adjunct Professor of Political Science Chris Adams says attacks on MLA offices are uncommon, but political violence is on the rise.
There's been a green light from certain segments of the political population down the United States, and that's given a green light for other people in Canada.
Both of the offices are closed and the staff is working from home or the legislature. There is now talk of beefing up security at all MLA offices.
We've really had to be careful. You know, it's really heightened how we do our jobs and how, who we're meeting with.
Jeff Keel, CTV News, Winnipeg.
Minister Smith says her staff is now meeting constituents with concerns in public spaces in the community. Indigenous women at risk of violence, homelessness, and exploitation in Winnipeg will soon have a safe place to go 24 hours a day. Design plans for the lodge were unveiled Thursday. Located at 510 Selkirk Avenue, it will have 10 bedrooms along with a kitchen and dining area. Women in need can access the space by referral and stay up to 48 hours. Counseling, cultural wellness spaces, and support will be offered, as well as transportation to the facility and a crisis response line.
This is a place where women will not only be safe, but where they will be seen, heard, and celebrated. A place where gifts, knowledge, and lived experiences can be shared. A place of empowerment and healing.
Construction of the 24/7 safe space broke ground with a $3.5 million investment from the province. The hope is to have it open by next summer. The first phase of the multi-million-dollar project to expand and modernize St. Boniface Hospital emergency room is now open to the public. Once finished, the renovations will triple the ER size. This first phase has an expanded resuscitation area, a dedicated diagnostic imaging suite with a new CT scanner and X-ray machine, and an expanded waiting room and triage area. There's also new amenities set to improve patient and staff experience at the hospital while maximizing functionality and flexibility. Construction began in April 2022 under the Stephenson government with a then budget of $141 million, $10 million of which came from the St. Boniface Hospital Foundation. According to the Winnipeg Regional Health Authority, the next phase, which involves renovating the existing emergency department facility, will be finished and operational by 2026. Once completed, over 18,000 square feet of existing space will be renovated and 86,000 square feet in new construction will be added, tripling the ER's size. Despite the added capacity, some are asking if there will be enough healthcare workers to staff it. The WRHA says St. Boniface Emergency Department nurse vacancy rate fell drastically from 24.3% to 7.3% between August 2024 to August of 2025. But on the physician's end, numbers from Doctors Manitoba in August shows that while the province has a record number of licensed physicians practicing, Manitoba still has the second lowest number per capita in all of Canada. It's now been 5 months and there is still no trace of 2 missing children in Nova Scotia.
Well, they brought in resources from other provinces. They're doing everything they can, but they need tips and they need the public's help in some way because somebody out there knows something and they're not saying.
4-year-old Jack and 6-year-old Lily were reported missing from their home in Lansdowne Station on May 2nd. Police say investigators have received 820 tips so far. They've also conducted 80 formal interviews and have reviewed all viable video files collected from the area. The search has involved hundreds of volunteers, experts, and police, both on the ground and in the air. The latest investigative tool being used is detection dogs searching for human remains. Police plan to provide an update on that search next week. The head of Enbridge says the conditions are not right to invest in a new pipeline right now.
Capital will go to where the conditions are set, and today the conditions are not set for that pipeline to exist in Canada.
The Enbridge CEO is calling on Ottawa to overhaul some of its environmental policies. One of them is the federal tanker ban on the northern BC coast. Alberta Premier Danielle Smith is pushing to build a new pipeline to northwest BC. BC Premier David Eby says that's not happening, calling the tanker ban foundational. Turning now to the gridiron and some high school football. Thursday evening, the home team Tech-Voc Hornets were taking on Murdoch McKay. It was a high-scoring affair, and in the end, Tech-Voc would win this one, 49-32. In some of the other action last evening, the Churchill Bulldogs defeated the St. Norbert Celtics 25-9, and Springfield destroyed Maples Collegiate 48-0. Here's a look at what's happening outside now on Portage Avenue. You could see the streets are a little bit puddle covered. Be mindful of that as you head out. Overall, though, looks good over in this part of the city. If you see any problems out there, please text them to us at 10400. Let's go now to Joseph Bernacki, who's hanging out outside on Crescent Drive Park. We're talking about sea paws. Good morning, Joseph.
Good morning, Rochelle, and good morning, Manitoba. Yeah, happy Friday. We've made it to the end of the week. For your Friday live on location for CTV Your Morning Winnipeg, we're with Sea Paws, as Rochelle mentioned. Of course, that's Canadian Parks and Wilderness Society. In this case, the Manitoba chapter, which was founded in 1991. They're a great organization that promotes the well-being of nature and advocating for parks that we have not only in Manitoba but across the country. Coming up throughout the show, we're going to learn a little bit more about their organization. Of course, some of the great outdoor education programs that they offer for schools, encouraging classrooms to get outside. For October 3rd, this is not too bad. It was sprinkling rain a little bit this morning. I have my umbrella right now in case it starts to rain a little bit more, but the temperature is quite beautiful for right now. In about half an hour's time, we're going to be speaking with their volunteer and outreach coordinator, learning about their spooky Halloween hike that's going to be taking place Saturday, October 25th at Birds Hill Park. This is a great event. It's the 5th year for the event. There's going to be a scavenger hunt. They're going to transform the Chickadee Trail, which is one of the best trails in the park if you've been to Birds Hill Park. And we're going to see a little bit more of Crescent Drive Park. Of course, the sunrise is not for about another hour or so, but we'll be back, so stay tuned for your Friday CTV Your Morning Winnipeg.
Okay, thank you, Joseph. Let's go out to the rooftop now. Terry, it's a beautiful start to the day. Yesterday when I was driving home, I noticed the trees just dumping all their leaves with that breeze that was happening, so something has changed.
Yeah, absolutely, and the change in colors too. I love seeing it, honestly. This is one of my favorite times of year, but yeah, we're going to see or notice more so the change up in the days ahead, because while we've been seeing the leaves changing, the temperatures have been so agreeable, and that's going to start to change up a little bit. Although today was still well above seasonal to begin the day. In fact, a 14-degree daytime high, and we're still above that. 15 is where we're sitting right now with southeast wind, 6 clicks. The pressure is falling, the humidity sitting at 92%. Yes, puddles from earlier this morning in the early morning hours. I think the rain stopped around 3 a.m. but we still may see some more, and we very likely will. If not some scattered showers today, certainly we're not going to go unscathed through this weekend with some heavier rain to wrap things up on Sunday. The heavier clouds, we're going to notice them throughout the day today as well, but that's more of a central and southern Manitoba thing, because yesterday it was northern Manitoba who had the heavier clouds and the rain, and today northern Manitoba, you're going to see a beautiful return to the sunshine. Here in the south, not so much. That possibility of showers remains. Taking a break right now. We'll see you soon with Your Morning.
Weather is brought to you by Blinds Are Beautiful. Our new Hunter Douglas showroom is at 900 Lorimer.
Good morning. A Winnipeg personal care home will begin filling 18 beds that have been sitting vacant amid a dispute with the Winnipeg Regional Health Authority. The beds are at Lions Manor in downtown Winnipeg. In a letter addressed to the WRHA and obtained by CTV News, the executive director of the company that operates the personal care home says Lions Housing Centers terminated their personal care home agreement on April 1st of this year. The letter says it stopped admitting patients due to inadequate funding and relief of current losses, and says the WRHA also blocked their proposed staff rotation plan. Health Minister Uzoma Azaguera says they have had discussions with the WRHA and Lions about the ongoing issues.
I myself, like I said, have sat down and met with Lions Manor, and I've been very, very clear that our expectation is that all beds that are funded by this government should be open, available, and accessible, and admitting residents to that personal care home, and that the staff who provide that care should be able to do so on the front lines of our healthcare system.
In a statement, a WRHA spokesperson said in part that they want to reassure staff, residents, and families that there will be no job losses or permanent bed closures. Azaguera said they directed the WRHA to be prepared for the possibility they may need to assume responsibility for Lions Manor, but hopes it won't come to fruition. A 27-year-old man has died after a rollover in western Manitoba. It happened yesterday morning. Portage la Prairie RCMP and EMS responded to the crash just off Highway 16 south of Westburn. RCMP say the driver was traveling at a high rate of speed and at a curve in the highway hit the ditch and rolled the vehicle. Health officials in Alberta are confirming the province's first measles death this year, a baby born prematurely. The baby, whose mother contracted measles during pregnancy, died shortly after birth. Children under 5, people with weakened immune systems, and those who are pregnant are at highest risk of measles infections. Health experts say measles cases have gone up as immunization rates have declined.
The measles, mumps, and rubella vaccine we've been using, again, for the better part of 30 plus years here. We know it's safe. We know it works.
Officials are now urging anyone planning on getting pregnant to obtain 2 measles vaccines before they conceive. A man who claims he's been behind bars for 33 years for a crime he did not commit could be a step closer to freedom. As CTV's Geneviève Beauchemin reports, provincial prosecutors are now admitting there may have been a miscarriage of justice.
Daniel Jolivet has spent more than half his life behind bars, claiming his innocence. We spoke to him in prison in 2023.
I didn't kill those people. They were my friend, you know.
Now, a rare letter from Quebec's Crown Prosecutor's Office could be key to his case. We now believe that the allegation of miscarriage of justice against Mr. Jolivet is not without merit, wrote Prosecutor Benoit Lauzon to Jolivet's lawyer.
They recognized that there was a mistake that was done. Disclosure was not made properly, and this could have had an impact on Mr. Jolivet's case.
Jolivet was convicted of a 1992 quadruple murder. Drug traffickers Denis Lemieux and François Leblanc were gunned down, along with 2 women who were at the wrong place at the wrong time. Jolivet was a career criminal. Evidence against him rested on the testimony of a former police officer turned criminal turned informant.
I want them to know that I'm innocent. And
Jolivet has repeatedly petitioned the Criminal Conviction Review Group for a new trial.
The other day, I phoned Daniel and he said, you know what? I've been in jail 12,000 days.
Pierre Belland is the one who wrote to the Crown asking for a review. He wrote a book about the case, The 12th Juror. He says the letter shows the Crown does not believe Jolivet got a fair trial.
The prosecution at the time did not, through discovery, did not pass on to the defense a ton of documents.
But the Crown can't order a new trial. The file is now in the hands of the Justice Minister. The department says it can't comment for now, citing some aspects of the case that are currently being challenged in federal court.
We believe that he could act, and we hope that he will do so, because every day that he doesn't act, well, an innocent person is in prison.
Supporters now hope they're a step closer to securing Jolivet's release. Geneviève Beauchemin, CTV News, Montreal.
Your Winnipeg Transit transfer will soon be good for a little while longer. Starting Monday, transfers will be valid for 90 minutes instead of 75. City Councillor Brian Mays proposed the idea to City Council in August. Winnipeg Transit says passengers have voiced the need for a longer transfer window since the launch of the new network. You can request a transfer from the bus driver when you board the bus and pay the fare. A West Broadway bar and concert venue is breaking down barriers, helping the next wave of bands in our city hit the road.
I think for us, the biggest thing is we love the city. We love the music scene here. We're kind of a staple in it. We've been open for 11 years, and it's just another way we can be involved and give back.
Handsome Daughter co-owner Jesse Kowalski says finding a working and affordable van is a big challenge for up-and-coming musicians heading out on tour, which is why the Sherbrooke Street Bar is now renting out this passenger van so bands can get down on touring costs, or they can cut down on those touring costs. And Kowalski adds the van is also available to people living in the neighborhood. For more info on the van, email booking@thehandsomedaughter.com. And some road closures to remind you about this morning. The one lane will be open on Carlton Street between Graham and Broadway from now through to the 6th. The westbound median and curb lanes on Notre Dame from Yonge to Langside will be closed for gas work. If you have any other traffic tips to share with us, please text them to us at 10400.
Traffic is brought to you by Mr. Lube Plus Tires. No appointment needed.
A look now through the Bath Fitter Live Eye. Bath Fitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years. There's a dampness outside this morning due to the rain that fell just a few hours ago. We still could see some more showers throughout the day today, but we're also still experiencing these well above seasonal temperatures, beginning the day at 15 degrees here in Winnipeg with similar temperatures all through the southeast. The southwest is just a couple degrees cooler than that, 11 degrees, the average temperature. Dauphin, Swan River, more in those mid-single digits. And then there's northern Manitoba with the clearer conditions this morning and the much colder temperatures, just barely above the freezing mark for a lot of you, but Thompson, not quite. -2 is where you begin this morning, but you will see plenty of sunshine today, and temperatures will be on the rise eventually. Like I said, we're still waiting for that sun to happen. About 7:30 or so this morning, depending where you are in the province. 7:31 here in Winnipeg. There was the rain that rolled through last night, just seeing the very lingering effects of that activity as it continues to push further to the east of us. As we continue on through the day today, there's still the possibility of some more showers developing. 15 degrees expected as kids are getting settled into the classroom. By noontime today, up to 23 degrees and 25 by the time they're coming home again. But that chance of showers is certainly there, especially later on today. Heavier clouds are still going to take us right through the weekend as these temperatures slowly and steadily drop off, with some steady rain expected throughout Sunday, probably beginning Saturday night. Sunshine, that's what we've got waiting for us on the other side of the weekend. Speaking of sunshine, what a beautiful contrast with the blue sky against those colored leaves. Thanks to Kimberly for the photo. Keep them coming, please, to Winnipeg weather at ctv.ca. We're taking a break. We'll be back with your morning.
Your morning just got a whole lot richer. We're giving away a staggering $20,000. Imagine what you could do with an extra 20 grand. A dream vacation, home renovations, paying off some bills. The possibilities are endless. Today's code word is dollar. Head to the contest page on ctvwinnipeg.ca or scan the QR code on your screen. Enter the code word dollar with your info for your chance to win CTV Your Morning Winnipeg's $20,000 giveaway. Good luck. The value of the Winnipeg Jets franchise is rising. Sportico says the Jets are worth more than $1.3 billion. That's a jump of 21% since last year. Despite the increase, the Jets are still the second least valuable franchise in the NHL. The average value of an NHL franchise is $2.1 billion. The most valuable team is the Toronto Maple Leafs, which are worth $4.25 billion US. The New York Rangers are the second most valuable NHL team, followed by the Montreal Canadiens. Ottawa has officially launched a single procurement agency for Canada's big defense purchases. The aim is to cut red tape and get the military the equipment it needs faster. CTV's Judy Trin explains what it all means in the midst of a trade war.
Of the billions of dollars the federal government spends on military equipment, 75% of it goes to suppliers in the U.S. The new Defense Investment Agency aims to change that.
We're not going to be spending 75 cents of our dollar south. We'll be amortizing that money out in Canada where we can, and then spending it in other places where we have to.
The agency will cut red tape and duplication and prioritize selecting Canadian companies for big contracts valued at more than $100 million. The government wants to buy less from the Americans, but it doesn't have a target.
But where those other dollars goes, I think in part will depend on what the government of Canada wants to spend the money on and how that ties into the things it wants Canadian industry to be able to produce.
The agency's first major decision will be about submarines and choosing between a German or a South Korean company to replace Canada's aging fleet. Meanwhile, the purchase of more F-35s from the U.S. is still up in the air.
There's no pressure on us to make a decision until we're ready to make a decision. We're a sovereign country.
The slow play comes as the tariff talks with the U.S. drag on. In front of a Senate committee, the chief negotiator tempered expectations.
Resolvable might mean going back to where we were a year ago. I don't think that's necessarily the case, but I think we can be in a lot better position over time than we find ourselves in today.
The Conservatives called the new agency unnecessary and slammed the appointment of its new CEO, a former banker who, according to his biography, has no experience in defense or procurement.
Your Morning Winnipeg. Coffee is brought to you by Robin's Donuts, your favorite stop.
right, outside this morning, it's still dark and a little bit damp from last night's rain. 15 degrees is where we begin with a southeast wind, 6 kilometers per hour. Pressure is falling, the humidity sitting at 92%. Even though it is dark and damp, 15 degrees, well above seasonal. 14 a normal daytime high, a normal low, that would be about 2 degrees, so we're well above that this morning. You can see there on the satellite image where the rain was moving earlier this morning and now pushing off to the east. Still just a little bit of activity lingering through the southeastern part of the province, but more looming just to the west, and we could be seeing more of that moving into parts of the province today. Not northern Manitoba. You had the rain yesterday. Today you're seeing a return to the sunshine. We won't be seeing anywhere near as much sunshine, though, here throughout the south, with the heavier clouds expected and that possibility of showers still. 25 degrees. We've still got these very mild and above seasonal temperatures on tap, with some slightly stronger winds out of the east. They could at times be gusting to 40 kilometers per hour. Dropping down to 14 degrees, which I mentioned would be a seasonal daytime high, so still with those very mild temperatures through the overnight hours. Tomorrow's not going to be anywhere near as warm. We still have the possibility of some showers overnight and some heavier clouds expected throughout the day tomorrow. Climbing to a high of 18 degrees, so still slightly above seasonal, just not the drastic rise that we've been experiencing over the past, really most of this week has been up into the mid-20s. And then we're cooling down for the weekend. Heavier rain expected through Sunday. Sunshine returns, temperatures dropping off before they rise again. We've still got some warm weather ahead.
Thank you, Terry. The Manitoba government has tabled a bill allowing for longer detention for people who are highly intoxicated. The bill would raise the maximum detention time to 3 days, up from the current 24 hours. That extra time is aiming to give people more time to recover from the effects of drugs and alcohol. The hope is that it would also cut down on the number of calls about intoxicated people posing a threat to themselves or others. This bill does not propose involuntary treatment. People under detention will be given a chance to connect with addiction support. Winnipeg police have laid charges following a scary moment for a mother and her children. She was confronted by a man with a handgun who approached her in a threatening way as she was picking up her kids from school yesterday. It happened in the 900 block of Brazier Street. As the mom drove away, the man drew a black handgun from his waistband. Police say he then approached a group of young people, pulled out his gun, and pointed it at them. Police found the man and arrested him behind an apartment complex and recovered 2 air pistols. Investigators say the incidents are believed to be random and unprovoked. A 19-year-old is now facing several weapons-related charges. He was released on an undertaking. The sanctity of the Yom Kippur holy day was shattered in an instant after a fatal terror attack on a synagogue in Manchester, England. A man rammed his car into the crowd, then attacked with a knife. 2 worshippers are dead. CTV's Heather Wright has more on the horror and the impact here in Canada.
Terror at a synagogue on the holiest day of the Jewish calendar. Police say a man wearing what appeared to be an explosive vest first drove a car into worshippers gathered outside a temple in Manchester, England, then got out of his car and attacked others with a knife. 2 people were killed, 4 others injured. The suspect, identified as 35-year-old Jihad Al-Shami, was shot and killed by police.
I've been shaken to the core, and I hope that we can come together and heal.
The attack has been deemed an act of terrorism and occurred in an area of Manchester home to many Orthodox Jews. It comes at a time of heightened fears in the Jewish community and rising anti-Semitism around the world. 3 other people have been arrested in connection, 2 men in their 30s and a woman in her 60s. They were taken into custody on suspicion of commission, preparation, and instigation of acts of terrorism.
I express my solidarity, but also my sadness that you still have to live with these fears. Nobody should have to do that. Nobody.
Security has been beefed up at synagogues around the world, including here in Canada. Toronto police announced last month they would increase patrols throughout the high holidays, as well as during the lead up to the 2-year anniversary of the Hamas attacks of October 7th.
Scary times, obviously, okay, and it's crazy. It's crazy. This cannot continue.
If you can always justify our murder, then it doesn't stop.
Prime Minister Mark Carney called the Manchester synagogue attack an appalling anti-Semitic atrocity, vowing we will always protect the inalienable rights of Jewish communities to live their lives free from intimidation and threats of violence.
And despite the increased security, there is a fear within the Jewish community, a concern that what happened in England could happen here. Heather Wright, CTV News, Toronto.
More than 30 arrests have been made and 38 stolen vehicles recovered in Ontario's Niagara region in an investigation dubbed Project Road King.
Clear example of what can be achieved when law enforcement agencies break down silos.
Multiple police forces, border services, and RCMP teams up to recover about $3 million worth of vehicles, along with drugs, weapons, and cash. The 30 people arrested are facing more than 200 criminal charges. Some cannabis products sold in Manitoba are being recalled. Health Canada says Winter Mint Chillo's cannabis extract and Cinnamon Chillo's cannabis extract have different amounts of THC than the label would suggest. The pouches have more than 10 milligrams of THC, and there is significant variability of THC between the pouches. Officials warn this could lead to overintoxication and temporary negative health consequences from a THC overdose. If you have these products, you're asked to return them to the place of purchase or dispose of them. Astronomers have found Pac-Man in space. This planet is 620 light years away. It's round and it's gobbling up dust and gas at record-breaking speeds, and 6 billion tons per second to be exact. It's classified as a rogue planet, which means it does not orbit a star. Astronomers are tracking its growth, which changes in a matter of months. That's a big deal, since quick in space terms usually means millions of years. Here's a look now at what's going on the Norwood Bridge. Looks pretty easy going so far this morning. It's a good start to your Friday. If you see any problems out on the streets, let us know. Text them to us, please, at 10400. Here's a look at your gas prices. The Canadian average is $1.36. The provincial average is slightly lower at $1.29. In Winnipeg, the average is $1.27. And the lowest price in the city is $1.20. All this info is on GasBuddy.com.
The Price at the Pump is brought to you by the Kidney Foundation. Help by donating your card today.
Coming up, we're live and telling you all about CPAWS. Joseph Bernacki is hanging out by the fire this morning. We're going to tell you how you can do this with your family anytime. Stay with us.
Weather is brought to you by ABC Fire and Safety, your CO2 refill store.
Dark, damp, breezy. That's how we begin your Friday morning. But it's Friday after all. We're all feeling pretty good, and we'll certainly be feeling good once those temperatures begin to rise. We're still above seasonal, even though there's that damp feeling to the air. 15 degrees is where we're sitting right now, and 14 a normal daytime high. 2 a seasonal low temperature, or well above that, and we'll stay that way at least for today. Things will cool down after this, though. That breeze out of the southeast is 6 kilometers per hour. The pressure is it's falling, and the humidity is sitting at 92%. Puddles on the streets this morning. The rain ended around 3 a.m., but it may not have ended completely. There's still the possibility that we see some showers throughout the day today here in southern Manitoba. And central Manitoba, you're very likely to see some activity as well, especially through tomorrow. Northern Manitoba, you're the lucky ones that are going to get to enjoy some sunshine today. That's after the rain fell for you yesterday, of course. So things are going to look a lot brighter across the north. Stay a little bit dark and cloudy here in the south. We've got Joseph Bernacki out and about. Let's check in and see how things are going. Hey, Joseph.
Hey, Terry. Yeah, well, we're enjoying the outside right now. I can't say I've been outside by a campfire at 6 in the morning too many times, but nonetheless, I appreciate the opportunity. Very pleased to be joined by Deb Gay-DeVries. She's the Volunteer and Outreach Coordinator with CPAWS Manitoba Chapter. Always a pleasure to have you on our show.
Thanks for coming out this morning, Joseph, to the park and enjoying our fire with us.
You guys have a really exciting event happening on October 25th, last Saturday before Halloween. Tell our viewers a little bit about the 5th annual Halloween hike.
Yeah, so we're really excited this year. This is, as you said, our 5th annual spectacular Halloween hike at Birds Hill Park, Saturday, October 25th. It'll run between 11 and 3 o'clock. Hundreds of you are going to be coming down and taking part. It takes place on the Chickadee Trail, so you know where you're going. If you're interested in signing up, you can go to our website, which is cpawsmanitoba.org, and you can sign yourself up and your family up. This is a free event for everybody, so we're we're really excited to have everybody out.
Before we were live, you were saying how much you guys, the organization, looks forward to hosting this event. Talk to us a little bit about the tradition of bringing it back now for 5 years and counting.
Yeah, so this started as part of our nature club. Our nature club started after COVID, so we all know how much fun that was. And CPAWS just wanted to get families and people out into the wilderness. So we decided to have nature walks and activities all the time. And one of those activities is this huge hike on Halloween. It's grown in size every single year, and this year's our biggest and best. We have a bunch of new activities that are going on we're very excited about. One of them will be a fire, so if it's cold that day, you can come warm up beside it. This is great, actually. Only it won't be at night. It will be during the day, so you won't trip or anything as you're walking down the trail.
A scavenger hunt as well, right?
Yeah, so this is new this year. You're going to be giving a scavenger hunt sheet when you arrive. It's really cool. It's spooky. And what happens is you walk the trail. The trail itself is 2 kilometers long. There is a 4-kilometer variety if you want to go longer with your family. But the easier trail is 2 kilometers. That's what all our activities happen on. And as you complete this scavenger trail, of course, your reward at the end is lots of candy. So make sure you bring your buckets or your pillowcases or whatever you'd like for your candy.
Sounds like it's going to be a great event, Deb. Well, she's going to be joining us later on in CTV Your Morning Winnipeg as we enjoy the campfire this morning, and make sure cameraman Kenny doesn't catch on fire here. We'll be back coming up shortly. Stay tuned.
Looking at the early markets, the Dow Jones adding over 100 points overnight. The Nasdaq and S&P index also making positive gains. The loonie is trending higher. The Hang Seng lost 146 points. The Nikkei index jumped 832 points. Good morning. It is 6:46. A stabbing in a remote northern community has left a man dead and a woman in custody. RCMP were called to a home in South Indian Lake Wednesday afternoon. They found a 54-year-old man with stab wounds. He died a short time later. RCMP are treating the death as a homicide. Mounties arrested a 53-year-old woman who is now in police custody. No word yet on any charges being laid. Striking Canada Post workers took to streets of downtown Winnipeg Thursday. About 100 postal workers marched at Portage and Main over the noon hour. The strike was called after Ottawa announced a series of service cuts aimed at putting Canada Post back on solid financial ground. Some of the proposal include cutting door-to-door service in favor of community mailboxes. The Canadian Union of Postal Workers says it's time Canada Post delivers a contract offer.
We want Canadians to reach out to your MPs to tell them it's important for you to maintain your door-to-door delivery, not only for the average Canadians, especially those who are senior citizens and can't get out, as well as people with disabilities. It's important to raise your voices because we want to support you and we want to have that delivered door-to-door as it should be, and we want to deliver coast to coast to coast.
The workers marched from downtown to the Canada Post Office in St. Boniface. There are roughly 1,600 postal workers in Winnipeg. Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre is pushing for the Liberals to get on board with his party's plan to reform Canada's bail system.
While people are dying on our streets, where our citizens are being massacred, while women are being killed by abusive ex-husbands, Mark Carney has spent 6 months spinning in circles, leaving Liberal laws in place.
The opposition leader is calling to fast-track a proposed Conservative bill, which would make judges consider the accused's full criminal history and make it harder for those who commit major offenses while on bail to receive bail again. The Liberals have indicated their own bail reform bill is on the way. Ottawa's fiscal watchdog says progress has been made in closing the housing affordability gap, although the results depend on where you live. Ottawa's parliamentary budget officer tracks housing affordability based on the gap between average home prices and what the typical household can afford. The biggest improvements were seen in Toronto and Hamilton, while things got worse in Calgary, Montreal, and Quebec City. According to the PBO, the cost of carrying a mortgage is still expensive in cities such as Toronto, Vancouver, and Victoria. A South End Community Centre is celebrating the completion of a big expansion project.
Thank you again to everybody, and welcome to Southdale.
Southdale Community Centre has always been known as a hub for hockey, but now the facility boasts much more than just ice time. There's a new fitness facility, new accessible washrooms and change rooms, and some boardrooms. The center's president says the expansion offers families more recreational opportunities.
We have taekwondo, we have team training, we have so many different things that we can ignite now, because it wasn't just a gym. We're putting up new boardrooms, new social hall additions, and things like that as well. So we have truly gone in a number of different directions as far as an expansion for Southdale.
The center also has a new anchor tenant. U-Turn Parkinson's will use the facility to offer its services to those living with the disease. We now know who the Toronto Blue Jays will face in the playoffs this weekend.
And the Yankees have completed step one on their way back to a World Series.
The New York Yankees defeated the Boston Red Sox 4-0 in the Wild Card Series and will go on to play the Blue Jays in the American League Division Series. Game 1 is Saturday afternoon in Toronto. And some road closures to remind you about this morning. Carlton Street between Graham and Broadway will be down to 1 lane from now through to the 6th. The westbound median and curb lanes on Notre Dame from Yonge to Langside will be closed for gas work. If you have any other traffic tips to share, text them to us, please, at 10400.
15 degrees right now in the city with southeast winds 6 kilometers per hour. The pressure is falling, the humidity sitting at 92%. 7:31 is when the sun will rise this morning, so we're still just sitting here in the dark. But whereas yesterday it was clear and we got to see and enjoy that day glow in advance of the sunrise, with the extra clouds hanging around this morning, it may look a little bit darker, a little bit longer. And even once the sun rises, it's still going to look a little bit gloomy because of the extra clouds. The rain, you can see that here on the satellite image that was moving through earlier this morning, continues to push off to the east. And northern Manitoba, who had all of the heavy clouds and rain yesterday, that's where the sun will be shining today. So things will be looking a little bit brighter for you. Still may see some scattered showers in that very northeast part of the province, or some heavier clouds hanging around in the Island Lake area. But temperature-wise, things are well back up above normal again, with 8 degrees being a seasonal high in Thompson. You're still going to be about 5 degrees above that. 4 degrees a seasonal high in Churchill, and you're almost 10 degrees above seasonal today. So mid-teens all across northern Manitoba. A little more sunshine. Again, some places may see a bit of precipitation, especially later on today through central Manitoba. You're probably going to be seeing more of that rain arcing through, and the heavier clouds all throughout southern Manitoba. But still, these above seasonal temperatures in the high teens and low 20s is where we can expect to end up throughout the day today, or mid-20s here through parts of the southeast. 14 degrees, that's a normal daytime high, so we're going to be well above that today. But the conditions, that's where the big change-up is for today, with some heavier clouds, maybe some scattered precipitation, and then even more rain coming this weekend as those temperatures eventually start to drop off. In fact, we're probably going to see a return to seasonal by the time we're wrapping up the weekend on Sunday, and then maybe dipping even further from that as we're looking into the start of next week. There will be a return to sunshine, and it's only a couple days dropping off before the mercury rebounds, bumps back up again, and we've got some warm weather ahead through the middle of next week.
Thanks, Terry. Let's check in now on Bo at Bounce 99.9. Good morning, Bo. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday, Rochelle. And it turns out that the word Friday was our first code word in our new contest starting this morning, Bounce to the Beach. So that's the words you've got to enter on our Bounce website. We do them 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Weekdays, so every couple of hours. You can enter as often as you like. We are giving away trips starting next week, all-inclusive trips for 2 to Sandals South Coast in Jamaica. Ooh. Oh, man. Yeah, I've been looking at it online. It's 5-star. It's gorgeous, as you can imagine. And to give that many trips away. Now, most of us haven't been thinking about winter getaways with this beautiful weather we've been having. But yeah, you know, winter is coming. So hopefully next week at this time when I talk with you, Rochelle, I'll be standing on the beach and you'll see the ocean behind me in Jamaica.
Oh, my gosh. I can't wait to see it. Lucky you.
It's going to be fun. Yeah, we're going to be down there broadcasting live all of next week here on Bounce 99.9. Now, this week, yesterday, was Name Your Vehicle Day. It always amazes me how many people name their vehicles. I never do. I've called mine some 4-letter words when it's not working. But I understand that you're one of those people that do name your vehicles, Rochelle.
Since my very first vehicle, I've named every single vehicle. My first vehicle's name was Jordan. It was a girl. And then my vehicle now, it's a boy. His name is Kit. I've named every single vehicle that I've ever owned. And I just feel like it builds a kind of a rapport, a relationship. It's good to have, especially if you don't want to get stranded on the side of the road. Sometimes talking to your vehicle, I think, might convince them to keep going. You never know. And that's just something I've been doing forever. Everybody who knows me knows that about me.
Well, Rochelle, what's your inspiration behind the names? Is it something to do with the car, or what? How do you name them?
Well, one car was Colby, and that was because it was the winner of a Survivor one year. And then one car was named Khal Drogo because he was, you know, Jason Momoa on Game of Thrones. So it just depends what's going on. Now it's Kit because I feel like this car is my most high-tech vehicle. So he got the name Kit.
I like it.
It's ridiculous. I know. Thanks, Bo. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next week in Jamaica. We want you to meet a man whose journey in life hasn't only been about reaching his destination, it's also been about making a difference along the way. CTV's Garrett Barry introduces us to the pilot who's landed right into the record books.
This pair have been a lot of places over the past month.
Sunday, we only have, I think, an hour and a half flight to it.
But this layover is a record setter. After their 10-hour flight from the Azores in Portugal to St. John's, Ed Galkin and his team believe he's become the oldest aviator to cross the Atlantic in a single-engine airplane, a 1976 Cessna.
We don't find it boring. I'm up there, I look around, I look down, and I say, boy, it's great being up here. It's a big ocean, and a lot of problems that you think you have, you really don't have it.
It's not just for the history books. This journey is a fundraiser for the Rotary Club's work in taking on polio around the world. The second one in a series that's already raised millions for the cause.
We've seen the greatness of Rotary and all these other organizations united together to end polio. So we don't have hope. More importantly, we believe we are seeing the end of polio.
Their friendship is a new one. These men spent just a few hours on the phone and meeting before setting off on this 5-week trip together in one of the smallest airplanes you'll ever find.
We definitely didn't have too much difficulty handling each other.
We've never been at a loss of words about what to talk about or tell jokes about. And sometimes I get irritable and sometimes he gets irritable. And usually within minutes, we're off talking about something else.
It's Ed's second world record. He's also believed to be the oldest to navigate the globe in a single-engine aircraft.
Well, I guess I'm number one.
He says if conflict and unrest subsides around the world, he might consider an around-the-world journey one more time. Garrett Barry, CTV News, St. John's.
Coming up, we're going to take a break here. We'll be back after this with your 7 o'clock headlines. Stay with us. It's Friday, October 3rd. Today, political threats rising. Minister Nahani Fontaine says hostility toward elected officials is escalating and dangerous. Plus, ER expansion opens. St. Boniface Hospital triples its size, but questions remain about staffing levels. And extra time to ride. Winnipeg Transit extends transfers, giving you more time to catch the bus. Your Morning Winnipeg starts right now. Good morning. It is Friday. We have made it to the end of the week, so thank you so much for spending your time with us here at Your Morning Winnipeg. Thanksgiving. It's just around the corner. It's just in just weekend. Over a week. Yeah. So Agape Table, of course, they're always busy helping to feed Winnipeg's hungry. So we're going to find out what they need for Thanksgiving, what you could do to support them, not just for the holiday season, but really at any time of the year. They're always in need of food and supplies. So we're going to tell you what they need right now and what you could do to support them throughout the year. But the weather is going to be a little bit wacky this weekend.
Okay, but we've been so spoiled, Rochelle. Yeah, that's all going to come to a little bit of an end. Let's take a look. All right, 15 degrees. So we're still pretty spoiled with these temperatures, I will say. 15 degrees is already above a seasonal daytime high, and we'll still make some impressive gains throughout the day today. Some southeast winds are light. They're just 6 kilometers per hour. The pressure is falling and the humidity sitting at 92%. It's dark out there. 7:31 is when the sun officially begins to rise for us today. Waking up to some puddles. You're probably going to notice that out there this morning. Rain stopped for about 3 a.m. You can see where it's moving to in areas just off to the east of us, but it's not like like it's over because there's more coming in from the west, and that's going to be arcing through parts of central Manitoba. A look at the futurecast, you'll see what I'm talking about. Now, northern Manitoba, yesterday you dealt with the heavier clouds and the rain. Today, things are going to be a little bit clearer for you, a little bit brighter. You'll enjoy a little more sunshine, or at least a mix of sun and cloud. But all of the heavier clouds through central and southern Manitoba will likely bring more rain, especially through the central part of Manitoba. But even for us here in the south, we have that chance of some showers maybe later on today, and then into the evening time too. Tomorrow we're looking at heavier clouds across most of the province and more precipitation across parts of the north a little more into the evening time, but Sunday is the real day of heavier rain that's going to be moving on through. So get ready for a little bit of a soaking this weekend, but it's also going to come with some much cooler temperatures. We've been so spoiled through most of this week, up in the mid-20s, and are still likely to be in the mid-20s for today with that possibility of scattered showers. Heavier clouds for tomorrow starting to cool down, and by Sunday it's back to a seasonal 14 degrees. But with all the rain we're expecting, you can also expect a rainbow thanks to Aurora. Beautiful coloring for us here, and we'd love to see the art that you're working on. Draw color paint, send a picture of that art to Winnipeg Weather at ctv.ca.
We're hearing from the provincial government minister at the center of a political controversy. Families Minister Nahanni Fontaine says Manitoba is seeing a disturbing shift toward political violence. As CTV's Jeff Keel shows you, Fontaine says what we're seeing now is not normal.
A defiant Families Minister says despite fires and vandalism at her office and her cabinet colleagues, they aren't going anywhere.
And no amount of attacks will ever push us out of this.
Nahanni Fontaine's constituency office on Main Street is boarded up. It's been hit twice. This week a fire. Before that, windows were smashed. Fontaine says this is not just an attack on her, but it's also an attack on her staff being able to serve constituents in a safe way.
And it's just not normal. It's not normal that in this day and age, somebody can be so angry that they would think that political violence is the path to go down.
This comes after calls by some for the Premier to remove Fontaine from cabinet. She was caught complaining about an ASL interpreter earlier this summer. She also shared a controversial online post following Charlie Kirk's murder. But she's not the only NDP cabinet minister to have her office damaged. Over the summer, there have been multiple fires and windows broken at Addictions and Homelessness Minister Bernadette Smith's office as well.
It's taken, a toll on mental health with our staff, with Minister Fontaine and I.
Fontaine points out she and Smith are the first First Nations women in cabinet in Manitoba history.
Women politicians have been particularly targeted.
Adjunct Professor of Political Science Chris Adams says attacks on MLA offices are uncommon, but political violence is on the rise.
There's been a green light from certain segments of the political population down the United States, and that's given a green light for other people in Canada.
Both of the offices are closed, and the staff is working from home or the legislature. There is now talk of beefing up security at all MLA offices.
We've really had to be careful. It's really heightened how we do our jobs and how, who we're meeting with.
Jeff Keel, CTV News, Winnipeg.
Minister Smith says her staff is now meeting constituents with concerns in public spaces in the community. Indigenous women at risk of violence, homelessness, and exploitation in Winnipeg will soon have a safe place to go 24 hours a day. Design plans for the lodge were unveiled Thursday. Located at 510 Selkirk Avenue, it will have 10 bedrooms along with a kitchen and dining area. Women in need can access the space by referral and stay for up to 48 hours. Counseling, cultural wellness spaces, and support will be offered, as well as transportation to the facility and a crisis response line.
This is a place where women will not only be safe, but where they will be seen, heard, and celebrated. A place where gifts, knowledge, and lived experiences can be shared. A place of empowerment and healing.
Construction of the 24/7 safe space broke ground with a $3.5 million investment from the province. The hope is to have it open by next summer. The first phase of the multi-million-dollar project to expand and modernize St. Boniface Hospital emergency room is now open to the public. Once finished, the renovations will triple the ER size. This first phase has an expanded resuscitation area, a dedicated diagnostic imaging suite with a new CT scanner and X-ray machine, and an expanded waiting room and triage area. There's also new amenities set to improve patient and staff experience at the hospital while maximizing functionality and flexibility. Construction began in April 2022 under the Stephenson government with a then budget of $141 million, $10 million of which came from the St. Boniface Hospital Foundation. According to the Winnipeg Regional Health Authority, the next phase, which involves renovating the existing emergency department facility, will be finished and operational by 2026. Once completed, over 18,000 square feet of existing space will be renovated and 86,000 square feet in new construction will be added, tripling the ER size. Despite the added capacity, some are asking if there will be enough healthcare workers to staff it. The WRHA says St. Boniface's emergency department nurse vacancy rate fell drastically from 24.3% to 7.3% between August 2024 to August of 2025. But on the physician's end, numbers from Doctors Manitoba in August shows that while the province has a record number of licensed physicians practicing, Manitoba still has the lowest number per capita in all of Canada. There are still some slight delays at the border caused by a system outage earlier this week. Trucks were backed up at multiple crossings yesterday. This morning, there are commercial delays of a little less than an hour at crossings at Manitoba's major crossing near Emerson and in Sarnia, Ontario. The flow for travelers is fine. The Canada Border Services Agency system outage has now caused delays at airports twice in 1 week.
When I got there, they said that the photo capture was down, so the slip that you normally get, it didn't have our picture on it. But honestly, it was very quick. I got through security and customs very easily.
The slowdown at major airports lasted for a few hours. According to the CBSA, yesterday's outage was linked to the one on Sunday that knocked customs kiosks out for about 10 hours. That was caused by an unforeseen technical problem during routine systems maintenance. Your Winnipeg Transit transfer will soon be good for a little while longer. Starting Monday, transfers will be valid for 90 minutes instead of 75. City Councillor Brian Mays proposed the idea to City Council in August. Winnipeg Transit says passengers have voiced the need for a longer transfer window since the launch of the new network. You can request a transfer from the bus driver when you board the bus and pay the fare. A celebration of Mahatma Gandhi's life was held at the Forks Thursday.
As we reflect Gandhi's legacy, let us remember, I've always had this quote every year, be the change what we wish to see in the world.
October 2nd marked Gandhi's birthday and the United Nations International Day of Nonviolence. Speakers shared messages urging peace and understanding in front of the Gandhi statue nestled on a path near the Canadian Museum for Human Rights.
For years, we've been taught about the principles of peace, nonviolence, and human rights. In today's time, it is becoming more and more relevant that we start respecting and upholding those principles as a core value versus just talking about them. And this is a continued step in our way of educating and promoting these principles to the world and really celebrating those values.
As part of the ceremony, a garland wreath was placed around the statue. It honors what Gandhi stood for, what he achieved, and what those accomplishments mean to others. Here's what's happening now in traffic at Confusion Corner. You can see things have picked up over here, but we have no issues to tell you about in this part of the city. If you do see any problems out there, though, let us know, please. Text them to us at 10400.
Elon Musk says sales of Tesla vehicles are back up. Tesla reported car deliveries jumped 7% in the latest quarter after plunging for most of the year. However, consumers were also able to take advantage of a $7,500 tax credit before it expired on September 30th. And the tech rally around the world continues, unabated with news of another round of major AI deals and partnerships. Japan's Hitachi and OpenAI have teamed up on energy and related infrastructure, and Fujitsu has expanded its collaboration with NVIDIA. This comes just a day after OpenAI's valuation topped $500 billion. Well, lower interest rates are helping to fuel home sales in the Greater Toronto Area. That's according to the Toronto Regional Real Estate Board. Sales were up 8.5% compared to last year. In Vancouver, home sales were up 1.2% in September. Analysts say the Canadian housing market has been under pressure in recent years due to interest rates and policy shifts, but there is potential for further improvement in the months ahead. And those are your morning business headlines for BNN Bloomberg. I'm Lindsay Biscaya.
Had to dig out the umbrella this morning. The rain has picked up once again. It had tapered off around 3 a.m., but I kind of suspected we'd be seeing more of it throughout the day today. And sure enough, it's light rain, but it is falling right now. 14 degrees, that's where we've dropped to from 15 last hour. But 14 degrees is still a seasonal daytime high. And that's where we begin right now compared to a normal low of 2. The pressure is falling right now, humidity at 95%, and the breeze on the lighter side will likely stay fairly light. The rain, like I said, also on the lighter side. We'll see that maybe off and on throughout the day today with some heavier clouds. There's some pockets of where we'll eventually see some brighter sky. Sun isn't up yet. That'll happen at 7:31 this morning. Speaking of a brighter sky, across parts of northern Manitoba, things will be looking at least a little bit brighter for you. You had the rain yesterday, but a mix of sun and cloud is expected across the north today, whereas central and southern Manitoba, mainly cloudy conditions and some chances of precipitation, scattered showers here in the south, but through central Manitoba, steadier rain is expected, and we could be seeing more of that steady rain as we're wrapping up the weekend. Heavier clouds likely to hang around all weekend long, and the temperature slowly and steadily dropping off after today. Today, though, still well up above seasonal, a high of 25 degrees.
Weather is brought to you by Canadian Footwear, helping you find the perfect fit.
It's time now for our question of the day. We want to know, what are your tricks for saving money on food? You can text your answer to 10400. Don't forget to include your name. Make sure to follow the automated instructions so we can feature your response. At Your Morning Winnipeg, we're all about celebrating your amazing pets, furry, feathered, or scaly. Your Pet of the Week submissions are amazing. We want to see more, whether it's dogs, cats, birds, or any other pet pals. Send them our way. Drop your pet photos and a fun little story about them to petoftheweek@ctv.ca. And then catch us every Thursday to find out if your pet is our Pet of the Week on Your Morning Winnipeg. We're going to take a break here. We'll be back after this with more news and some entertainment. Brandon police are announcing the result of a 2-day blitz against sexual exploitation. The operation, called Project Blockade, was conducted on September 26th and 27th with help from Winnipeg Police and Manitoba Justice. It resulted in the arrest of 23 men for obtaining sexual services for consideration or communicating in any place for that purpose. The arrests occurred in several Brandon area locations. 7 vehicles were also impounded under prostitution-related provisions of the Highway Traffic Act. All the accused individuals were released on undertakings. Brandon police say investigators are still analyzing evidence gathered during the operation. A Winnipeg personal care home will begin filling 18 beds that have been sitting vacant amid a dispute with the Winnipeg Regional Health Authority. The beds are at Lions Manor in downtown Winnipeg. In a letter addressed to the WRHA and obtained by CTV News, the executive director of the company that operates the personal care home said Lions Housing Centers terminated their personal care home agreement on April 1st of this year. The letter says it stopped admitting patients due to inadequate funding and relief of current losses, and says the WRHA also blocked their proposed staff rotation plan. Health Minister Uzoma Azaguera says they have had discussions with the WRHA and Lions about the ongoing issues.
I myself, like I said, have sat down and met with Lions Manor, and I've been very, very clear that our expectation is that all beds that are funded by this government should be open, available, and accessible, and admitting residents to that personal care home, and that the staff who provide that care should be able to do so on the front lines of our healthcare system.
In a statement, a WRHA spokesperson said in part that they want to reassure staff, residents, and families that there will be no job losses or permanent bed closures. Azaguera said they directed the WRHA to be prepared for the possibility they may need to assume responsibility for Lions Manor, but hopes it won't come to fruition. Here's what's happening now on St. Mary's Road. Traffic volumes are have picked up quite a bit over here, as you can see, but they're moving. So it looks like things are smooth at this point. There are puddles out there, so be mindful of that as well as you head out this morning. If you have any other traffic tips or updates to share, text them to us, please, at 10400.
Traffic is brought to you by Curtis Carpets, Manitoba's flooring experts.
Now in entertainment, Taylor Swift's Tortured Poets era has come to an end, and now she's officially a showgirl.
Thank you for the lovely bouquet. You're sweeter than a peach, but you don't know the life of a showgirl, babe. And you're never ever gonna wait.
The Life of a Showgirl is Swift's 12th studio album, and there are 12 new songs on it. And in case you forgot, she announced it at 12:12 a.m. on August 12th. So far, the reviews are glowing. Taylor Swift has said her goal for the new album was to have, quote, melodies that were so infectious that you're almost angry at it. Along with the album, there's also a film. The official release party of A Showgirl will be in select theaters across the country starting today. It will include the world premiere of the music video for the lead single, The Fate of Ophelia, along with behind-the-scenes footage, lyric videos, and never-before-seen personal reflections. Bad Bunny's halftime show at the upcoming Super Bowl will likely be drawing ICE agents to the big game. Trump's Homeland Security advisor says immigration officials will be at the stadium when the Puerto Rican artist performs, looking for anyone there illegally. Bad Bunny avoided the U.S. on his recent tour, afraid ICE would go after his fans. The summer's most popular animated movie is teaming up with a popular video game. Fortnite has added the K-pop Demon Hunters to its lineup. Fans can now fight evil alongside the members of Huntrix in a new Demon Rush mode. They can also create their own games based on the movie, remix their existing maps, and stage K-pop showdowns. Demon Rush mode is available until the end of the month. I have no idea what any of that means. Start your weekend off with some great entertainment at 7. Take a spin with Celebrity Wheel of Fortune, and Special Forces World's Toughest Test is on at 8. It's all right here tonight on CTV. Yeah.
I never have any idea what any of the things I say mean. I'm kidding. Jokes.
Yes, it's going to be a beautiful rainy day. A beautiful day to stay indoors and watch a movie or play video games.
Do you know what? The temperatures are still looking pretty good as we take a look now through the Bath Fitter Live Eye. Bath Fitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years. Heavier clouds hanging over the city. There was some rain last night, and a little more activity has just picked up again in the 7 o'clock hour. So some light showers is what we're dealing with right now. And temperatures, they've just been dropping off a little bit over the course of the morning. For example, we started the show at 15 degrees, then dropped to 14, and now 13. You could round that up to 14. But anyway, we're still well above seasonal. I'll remind you that 2 degrees would be a normal low temperature. We are well above that, double digits all throughout southern Manitoba. Central Manitoba, a little bit cooler, 7 degrees right now in Dauphin and in Swan River, and then much cooler across parts of northern Manitoba, where the sky is starting to clear out a little bit. Following the rain that you experienced yesterday, you'll see a return to some sunshine today, or at least a mix of sun and cloud. But yes, it's chilly to kick off your morning at -3 in Thompson. Everybody else is at least either at the freezing mark or a couple degrees above it throughout northern Manitoba. And you will be ending up into about the mid-teens today through the north. It's central Manitoba that'll probably see the bulk of the rain today, although some scattered showers are still possible across southern Manitoba as well. And yes, the temperatures will continue to rise, but we're just going to see a lack of sunshine for today. 15 degrees as kids settle into the classroom, 23 by midday, and by the time they're coming home again, a well above normal 25 degrees. That'll be the last of the mid-20s for a few days yet, as we're seeing those temperatures slide through the weekend with heavier clouds and steadier rain, especially as we're wrapping up on Sunday. Cooling a little more into the start of next week with the sunshine returns. Only for a couple of days will we be cooling down, though. You'll see the temperatures on the rise through the middle to end of next week. And a stunning shot of the fall colors out at Birds Hill Park. Beautiful blue sky contrasted behind them. A stunning day captured by Kimberly. Keep the pictures coming, please, to Winnipeg Weather at ctv.ca.
Your morning just got a whole lot richer. We're giving away a staggering $20,000. Imagine what you could do with an extra 20 grand. A dream vacation, home renovations, paying off bills. The possibilities are endless. Today's code word is dollar. Head to the contest page on ctvwinnipeg.ca or scan the QR code on your screen. Enter the code word $, with your info for your chance to win CTV Your Morning Winnipeg's $20,000 giveaway. Good luck. Time now for this week's Adorable Adoptables. We begin with Cher. This 4-year-old diva is sweet but has a few spicy spots and isn't afraid to let you know when she'd rather be on her own. Next up is Richard, a 2-year-old pooch. Richard has a friendly nature and a talent for making everyone feel like a friend. Richard loves cuddles and spending time with people. And meet Keely. This gentle 1-year-old pup is an avid lover of enrichment toys and treats and loves a good sniff when out on walks. Keely has a condition that is well managed but prevents her from being too active and roughhousing. If you think you can offer any of these animals a good home, just head down to the Winnipeg Humane Society or give them a call. The number is on your screen. A Missouri school district has hired some special staff members for each of their schools, and these ones are paid in pets and treats. NBC's Olivia Acree has more on how the facility dogs are helping the staff and students.
Velcro is very fun. The great thing about Velcro is that he really, truly loves people and he loves kids.
According to Redbridge principal Monica Pickett, Velcro is just another employee.
Good boy.
He has a full day filled with learning and kids, but part of it is spent getting pets.
I get here about an hour before kids show up, and he's like, all right, where's the kids? Let's go. I like dogs.
He's learning, just like you guys. Before Velcro joined the team here, Zachary Weimers from Rescues for Education taught him how to do his job. They're a nonprofit that adopts dogs from shelters and trains them to work in schools.
I stress the dog out to a point where I know that no matter what happens, I know how the dog's going to respond. I think the worst thing he's done to a child is lick them in the face. And the kid went, oh, and then went back in for a second.
Yeah. Velcro's job is to provide support that teachers can't.
There's a lot of boundaries between students and everything else in the school. Velcro is able to cross that boundary. The dog provides what this is called pressure therapy, and it kind of puts a little bit of weight on your lap. It kind of helps you restabilize and refocus. Yes, good boy.
Velcro is paid in treats, even when he's caught napping on the job.
I pick dogs because their best life is in a school. This is best for Velcro, this is best for the school.
From those paws to sea paws, the Canadian Parks and Wilderness Society Manitoba chapter has a lot of activities going on. Stay with us for details. Sea Paws is all about getting outside and enjoying nature, and at this time of year there are things in nature that could be considered a little bit spooky. Good morning, Joseph.
Good morning, Rochelle, and good morning, Manitoba. We're going to be talking about some of those spooky planned activities coming up soon. Very pleased to be joined by Carly Gray. She's the Environmental Education Manager with CPAW's Manitoba chapter. Always a pleasure to have you on our show.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me this morning.
Yeah. This Sunday, we're highlighting a pretty special day for our educators out in different schools, World Teacher Day. Talk to us a little bit about that collaboration that CPAWS has, going to schools, educating kids on getting outside.
Absolutely. So, yeah, World Teacher Day coming up on October 5th. So we wanted to highlight a little bit about what it means to be an educator and especially an educator outside. So CPAWS has an outdoor education program that goes to schools and takes actually schools out on field trips into wild spaces in hopes to promote environmental stewardship and connection to nature.
Pretty good number of kids you were telling us too before we were live. A couple thousand just this year alone?
Yes, this year alone from April, it's been about 4,000 kids that we've gotten outside learning about local nature, but since the program's inception, it's been about 32,000 kids, which kind of blows my mind and reminds me why I'm a little bit tired all the time.
And you have a number of things on the table here in front of us. You mentioned professional development. CPAWS can help teachers become better educators for offering different courses and classes in school. Can you talk to me a little bit more about that?
Absolutely. So I offer professional development sessions to teachers and anyone in the outdoor education space. So I go to schools or we meet in a park or protected area, and we talk about some of the ways and skills that we can get kids outside. So one thing I have here is scavenger hunts. They're some of my most popular activities that I bring outside. I always have my wagon and my tarp, things like that, but also just connecting to our senses and being a facilitator of space. Instead of being the holder of knowledge, we just foster curiosity and wonder through connecting kids to nature versus being the one standing there telling them all about it.
And even being in a park like this, we appreciate how close we are to nature, even in a big city like Winnipeg.
Yeah, absolutely. We could hear the owls this morning. We were all...
we could. Okay. Well, Carly's going to be joining us a little bit later on in the show. We're going to be back at 7:42, spending more time with CPAWS here in Crescent Drive Park. Stay tuned.
Whoo, did you hear? It's 14 degrees right now, northeast winds 9 kilometers per hour. The pressure is falling and the humidity sitting at 95%. Looked like Joseph had wrapped up his umbrella for now. I'll take a look in a few minutes time to see what's happening on our rooftop. There was that little bit of precipitation that started up into the 7 o'clock hour, but we're keeping an eye on that and watching it track further to the east. Across parts of northern Manitoba, things are going to look a little bit brighter. You had the soggy stuff yesterday, but a mix of sun and cloud today, whereas central and southern Manitoba, this is where all the extra cloud cover will be today, and the scattered precipitation across the south as well. So we do have that chance of showers today, but still the well above seasonal temperatures. We're already in the mid-teens, closer to seasonal daytime highs, with 14 being normal. We'll instead head more than 10 above that to a high of 25 degrees, with winds increasing somewhat to about 40 kilometers per hour. And then, yes, that chance of scattered precipitation off and on throughout the day, dropping down to 14 degrees overnight. Still the heavier clouds tonight, still that possibility that we could be getting more showers, and the heavier clouds likely to last through tomorrow as well. Maybe some brief precipitation. 18 degrees, so it'll be a little bit cooler than it's been. This entire week we've been spent with mid-20 temps, and then the weekend comes around and things start to cool down, start to get a little bit soggier. I mean, we've got the showers out there today, but also some heavier, steadier rain as we're wrapping up the weekend on Sunday. After that, the sunshine returns, but the temperatures continue to drop off till about Tuesday. After that, we'll see a rebound with the mercury on the rise. We've still got warmer days ahead through the middle and end of next week.
Thank you, Terry. A 27-year-old man has died after a rollover in western Manitoba. It happened yesterday morning. Portage La Prairie RCMP and EMS responded to the crash just off Highway 16 south of Westburn. RCMP say the driver was traveling at a high rate of speed and at a curve in the highway hit the ditch and rolled the vehicle. It's now been 5 months and there is still no trace of 2 missing children in Nova Scotia.
Brought in resources from other provinces. They're doing everything they can, but they need tips and they need the public's help in some way because somebody out there knows something and they're not saying.
4-year-old Jack and 6-year-old Lily were reported missing from their home in Lansdowne Station on May 2nd. Police say investigators have received 820 tips so far. They've also conducted 80 formal interviews and have reviewed all viable video files collected from the area. The search has involved hundreds of volunteers, experts, and police, both on the ground and in the air. The latest investigative tool being used is detection dogs searching for human remains. Police plan to provide an update on that search next week. The head of Enbridge says the conditions are not right to invest in a new pipeline right now.
Capital will go to where the conditions are set, and today the conditions are not set for that pipeline to exist in Canada.
The Enbridge CEO is calling on Ottawa to overhaul some of its environmental policies. One of them is the federal tanker ban on the northern BC coast. Alberta Premier Danielle Smith is pushing to build a new pipeline to northwest BC. BC Premier David Eby says that's not happening, calling the tanker ban foundational. Germany's Munich airport reopened this morning after a string of drone sightings shut it down for hours. Everything came to a halt for almost 7 hours overnight, affecting nearly 3,000 passengers and more than 17 flights. 15 arriving flights were also diverted. This comes after multiple other drone sightings in Europe in recent weeks, impacting airports across Norway and Denmark. Some cannabis products sold in Manitoba are being recalled. Health Canada says winter mint Chillo's cannabis extract and cinnamon Chillo's cannabis extract have different amounts of THC than the label would suggest. The pouches have more than 10 milligrams of THC, and there is significant variability of THC between pouches. Officials warn this could lead to over-intoxication and temporary negative health consequences from a THC overdose. If you have these products, you're asked to return them to the place of purchase or dispose of them. Ottawa's fiscal watchdog says progress has been made in closing the housing affordability gap, although the results depend on where you live. Ottawa's parliamentary budget officer tracks housing affordability based on the gap between average home prices and what the typical household can afford. The biggest improvements were seen in Toronto and Hamilton, while things got worse in Calgary, Montreal, and Quebec City. According to the PBO, the cost of carrying a mortgage is still expensive in cities such as Toronto, Vancouver, and Victoria. Imagine calling an ambulance and having a taxi show up instead. It's now an option for hospitals in Calgary and Edmonton. Emergency Health Services Alberta says it's part of a 6-month pilot project and will only apply to non-emergency patients who can safely walk on their own and don't require assessment by paramedics. Officials say if a patient is advised by a nurse to see a doctor within 24 hours, they will send a cab out to get them instead of the ambulance, noting it will reduce the strain on the system. If the 6-month pilot project is successful, it may expand to other communities in the province. Turning to the gridiron and some high school football now. Thursday evening, the home team, Tech Fawk Hornets, were taking on Murdoch McKay. It was a high-scoring affair, and in the end, Tech Fawk would win this one 49-32. In some of the other action Thursday, the Churchill Bulldogs defeated the St. Norbert Celtics 25-9, and Springfield destroyed Maples Collegiate 48-0. Some road closures to remind you about this morning. One lane will be open on Carlton Street between Graham and Broadway from now through to the 6th. The westbound median and curb lanes on Notre Dame from Yonge to Langside will be closed for gas work. If you have any other traffic tips, text them to us, please, at 10400. And here's a look at your gas prices. The Canadian average is $1.36. The provincial average is lower at $1.29. In Winnipeg, the average is $1.27. The lowest price in the city, $1.20. All this info is on GasBuddy.com.
The Price at the Pump is brought to you by the Kidney Foundation. Help by donating your card today.
Right now, it's cloudy and raining in some parts. It is 14 degrees. Your Morning Winnipeg will be back after this.
Your Morning Winnipeg. Coffee is brought to you by Robin's Donuts, your favorite stop.
Degrees outside this morning. The rain has tapered off for now, seeing a little bit of sunshine in its place. We'll see how much longer that lasts. Northeast winds on the lighter side, just 9 kilometers per hour. The pressure is falling and the humidity is sitting at 95%. So yeah, a few breaks in those clouds right now as the rain is starting to move off to the east, but a little more precipitation following that, and we could be seeing more throughout the day today. So to my central Manitoba, where the heavier clouds starting to move in. Best chance of sunshine, that'll be up across parts of northern Manitoba. You had all of the rain yesterday, so a nice change up today. And it'll also come with above seasonal temperatures. For a normal daytime high up in Churchill, you'll had almost 10 degrees above that. Thompson, seasonal, that would be about 8 degrees. So you too are going to be a fistful of degrees above what you would expect for this time of year. There are a couple of places that still may see some light and scattered showers. The Paw, Norway House as well, especially in that more central part of the province. That's where there's going to be some rain today. Further into the north, things will start to look a little bit brighter as those clouds begin to break up a little bit. Heavier clouds, though, and the precipitation settling in across southern Manitoba. Still well above normal temperatures, though. 14 degrees, that would be a seasonal daytime high. Mid to high teens across much of central Manitoba, but pushing up into the low 20s in the southwest. Southeastern Manitoba, we're talking mid-20s for today. Very mild, well above normal. But yes, the heavier clouds, scattered precipitation off and on, not just today, but throughout this coming weekend. And northwestern Ontario as well can expect some scattered precipitation, or our lovely fog icon. That's the case over in Fort Frances this morning. Okay, so 25 degrees today, still well above seasonal, but we will start to drop off after this with some heavier clouds sticking around throughout the weekend and even more rain, especially as we're wrapping up on Sunday. Then as we're looking ahead to next week, temperatures drop off another couple of degrees, but only for a couple of days before they're rebounding again, and we're getting back to some warmer weather toward the middle to end of next week.
Thank you, Terry. Let's go back now to Joseph Bernacki, who's been spending the whole morning outside because being outside feels good. Good morning, Joseph. What is that on your head? I just noticed it.
It's a gourd, Rochelle. I'm getting in the Halloween spirit, of course. Trying to see how long I can balance this on my head, of course. We're going to be talking about that in just a moment. I'm very pleased to be joined by Deb and Carly for this segment from CPAWS. Deb, talk to us a little bit about these fun Halloween activities that are going to be planned for the Halloween hike later at the end of the month.
Yeah, so again, everybody, we're out at Birds Hill Park October 25th for our Halloween spooktacular hike. First thing I want to talk about that's new is we are going to have a campfire, so please feel free to bring your lawn chairs with you. And we're going to have a storyteller around that campfire. We're going to be reading a lot of spooky stories with you. And I'm going to be taking you on a ghost hunt without leaving your chairs.
And Carly, there's going to be a number of other activities as well, including the pumpkin that's on my head. Why is this pumpkin on my head?
Yes, so we have a lot of activities throughout the trail just to keep it really engaging and exciting. And one of our favorited activities is a relay race balancing a small pumpkin on your head. So you're doing great. You'd be really awesome at it. We also will have a scavenger hunt for every participant that they can come when they get their map. They can do a little scavenger hunt, as well as we have an eyeball race with a skeleton hand and an eyeball. So,
which is what I'm holding right here.
Yeah, so you're just doing all the activities at once.
All at once. Give us a sneak preview. What are some of the things to be on the lookout for the scavenger hunt?
So on our scavenger hunt, you want to be looking for spiders, you want to be looking for spider webs, definitely leaving them in their home. You're going to be looking for little mushrooms and toadstools, and then we have some cute things like spooky trees or the skeleton of a leaf, or things that a witch might use in her potion.
You know, I asked Deb earlier in the 6 o'clock hour, how exciting is it to bring this event back for a 5th year, Carly?
It's amazing. I've been there for quite a few of them, and it's just so incredible to see it grow year after year. It's an amazing day on the trail of having over 500 people out there enjoying nature, and especially the fall. It's beautiful.
Wonderful. Well, we're going to be back in the 8 o'clock hour. As Deb and Carly mentioned, I'm trying to walk between these gravestones with a pumpkin on my head. The pumpkin is separate, of course, but we're going to be back in the 8 o'clock hour as Kenny backs up here, and I don't walk into the graves. We'll be back. Stay tuned for CTV Your Morning Winnipeg.
You're so smooth, Joseph. Thank you. Young Saskatchewan performers had the chance of a lifetime in Saskatoon as professional Ukrainian dancers held a unique high-level training experience. As CTV's Carla Shinkarek shows us, for the Ukrainian pros, sharing their culture is important considering what is happening in their homeland.
Maria Bodyan fled Ukraine less than a year ago.
For us, people who is running from the war, for us is very main that the people here learn our culture, share our culture.
Together with her husband Dmytro, they now share their dance expertise in Canada. It's extra special instruction too because they're part of an elite group of professional dancers, the Virsy Ensemble from Kiev, a group that has been the benchmark for Ukrainian dance globally for decades. And students here are soaking it in.
They have a lot of questions. They like to work, they like to dance, they support Ukrainian culture. It's very cool.
Saskatoon's Yevshan Ensemble hosted the event with dancers also coming from places including Regina, Yorkton, and Prince Albert. And the significance of having these pros in studio is not lost on this dancer.
The National Ensemble of Ukraine, which is like the best of the best. So just thinking about that is unreal.
It's clear that students are not just learning dance steps here.
Well, it's really important to keep dancing during the war because it expresses our Ukrainian culture.
Ukrainian dance has become a symbol of unity and resilience for Ukrainians during uncertain times, and that was echoed through the music here.
That they are trying to share, trying to help, trying to support. And it gives, for people who is now in Ukraine, it gives them more power, believe me. Canadian people, they have the same soul like Ukrainian. The same heart, the same soul, the same spirit.
Carla Shinkarek, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Let's see who's celebrating a milestone today. Happy 19th birthday, Noah. Love from your family. Happy 20th birthday, Adia. Love dad, mom, and Persia. Happy birthday, Tristan. Love mom, dad, and Lola. Happy birthday, Dakota, from friends and family. Happy 6th birthday, Tony. Love mom, dad, Gloria, and Sophia. Happy big 10th birthday, Sebastian. Love from grandma, grandpa, and all your family and friends. Happy 3rd birthday to Alex. Love mommy, daddy, the grandmas, grandpa, and papa. Happy 60 years young Kevin from your family and friends. Happy happy 91st birthday to Joe with best wishes from family and friends. And a happy 5th birthday to Theo. Love your mom, dad, Liam, Kronos, and Scarlett. To submit your milestone, visit our website, ctvnewswinnipeg.ca, and fill out the form at least 2 days in advance. It'll also enter you into our monthly contest for a chance to win a $100 gift certificate to Party Stuff.
Milestones is brought to you by Party Stuff. 3 Winnipeg locations and at partystuff.ca. Weather is brought to you by Garage Masters, your complete garage specialists.
So 25 degrees is where we're headed today, and that will put us well above seasonal. A normal high this time of year, that would be about 14 degrees. Now, last year, we couldn't even get there. Topped out at about 10 degrees, almost 11 if you round up. The record, though, that was a warm day. As 1976, we got up to 28 degrees. We won't be that warm today, but we're certainly closer to records than what is normal. But this will kind of bring an end to those very mild temperatures, as we will see or feel things cooling down throughout the weekend. Heavier clouds hanging over us right now. There was some rain earlier this morning. I even needed the umbrella at the start of the 7 o'clock hour, but it's rolled up for now. Puddles left behind. We still, however, could see more showers throughout the day today. 13 degrees is where we're sitting right now with north-northeast winds, 10 clicks. Pressure is falling and the humidity is sitting at 96%. So we're a lot closer to a normal daytime high than we will be later today as we make those gains, leaving that number in the dust. Mid-20s expected today, well above normal where we've been, or similar temperatures to where we've been throughout most of this week. But everything starts to cool down now as we head into what will likely be a cloudy and perhaps at times soggy weekend. We've already seen some showers today and more throughout the weekend, especially Saturday night and into Sunday with some heavier rain on tap. For northern Manitoba, you had all of that rain yesterday, but a nice change up today as the sky is clearing out. You're going to see some sunshine ahead and still above seasonal temperatures, with northern Manitoba reaching those low to mid-teens today.
We're just over a week away from Thanksgiving, a time to gather with friends and family to celebrate and be thankful for the fall's harvest. But many families won't be able to afford a turkey, stuffing, and all of the fixings. Agape Table is doing what it can to make sure people do receive a warm meal this season. Joining us now is Agape Table General Manager Dave Fenya. Good morning, Dave.
Good morning, Rochelle. How are you?
Thank you. Well, I'm well. Thank you so much for joining us. You've been busy there. Tell us, just before we get to the numbers that you've been seeing, let's remind people what Agape Table does exactly.
Agape Table, we're a soup kitchen. We've been around since 1980, so we're in our 45th year, and we're helping what used to just be the marginalized is expanded to newcomers and refugees, and now the working poor and seniors are coming to our door.
So you're seeing crazy numbers right now?
Absolutely. Right now we're seeing anywhere from 600 to 1,000 people each and every day.
That's wild. And what was it before?
Pre-COVID, we were sitting about 85,000 meals for the year. Last year we were at 173,000. This year, I'm projecting between 175 to 180,000.
What do you think's happening? Is it the cost of food?
It's the cost of everything. It's food's going up, rent's going up, utilities are going up, minimum wage isn't covering everything, so there's a larger gap between the haves and the have-nots.
Mm-hmm. And so the problem too is that a lot of people have nowhere to turn, and so they come to you, and you are there to provide them with all kinds of different services, including a sort of a drop-in where they can do some shopping of their own, right?
Well, we don't, since COVID, we had to shut down our low-cost grocery store, but we do still have 2 hamper programs every Tuesday and every Thursday, where we're serving up to 125 to 150 families.
Wow. Okay, let's talk about Thanksgiving. It's just around the corner, of course. What are you doing for Thanksgiving, and what can people do to support you?
Thanksgiving right now is we're having a ham dinner, ham, potatoes, stuffing, vegetables. We're putting it in a clamshell and handing it out at the front door.
Okay.
Simply because of our extreme numbers coming, we can't right now have people coming in. How can you help? Food, time, and money. We've started a new campaign called Cup of Kindness, where for as little as $25 you can help feed 10 people attend of our guests and help with our capital campaign. Our capital campaign is going on. We're building a new building right beside where we are. And hopefully early spring we can have our guests back in and have that community feel that we once had.
Because you used to have a sit-down breakfast, a sit-down lunch, and it was sort of built this community feeling, right? But you can't do that because the building you're in is way too small.
The building is way too small and our numbers are astronomical. So it's just as easy. We can actually feed more people this way right now, but we want to get back to that small community feel where people are coming to our door. As much as they're coming for food, they're coming for a positive interaction.
Right. Okay. So if somebody wants to donate to the Cup of Kindness campaign, that's awesome. But if they want to help you immediately, what can they do?
Food, time, and money. Without food, we can't do what we do. Without your time, there's only 8 full-time staff. So we're always in need of volunteers.
Okay.
And unfortunately, money makes the world go around right now. www.agapitable.ca, 204-783-6369, or come down to 364 Furby and be part of the magic.
And what would you be doing as a volunteer?
Serving at the door, doing food prep, putting the bag lunches together. Sometimes it's as simple as going out and helping clean up the area and having a conversation with our guests.
It makes a big difference in someone's life, indeed. Well, thank you so much for sharing this with us. Again, if you want to help out, we do have a link on our website. Thanks, Dave.
Awesome. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Mark Rowe inside the Sports Center newsroom with your must-see moment from Thursday forward. We're going to head to Game 3 in the Bronx. Yankees, Red Sox, top 8. It's 4-0 Yankees. Jarren Duran pops it into foul territory. Ryan McMahon gives chase and makes the fantastic catch. Goes head over heels and flips into the Red Sox dugout, but manages to hold on. McMahon delivering the play of the postseason so far, and he is your must-see moment from Thursday. Friday on TSN, Week 18, and the CFL kicks off with the Rough Riders taking on the Red Blacks. Pre-game coverage begins at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. That's all from the Sports Center newsroom. Have a great day.
The TSN Must-See Moment is brought to you by Super Blinds and Draperies, featuring Hunter Douglas products.
It's Friday, October 3rd. Today, 2 cabinet ministers are speaking out regarding rising political violence after their constituency offices were targets of vandalism and arson. Canada's independent business sector warns ongoing labor strife at the post office may force shippers to abandon the Crown Corporation permanently. And operators of this giant maze delight in telling visitors to come on down. And they get lost just as long as they find their way into the Guinness record books. Your Morning Winnipeg starts right now. Good morning, Manitoba. It's 8 o'clock on your Friday. Happy Friday to all of you. Terry's very excited, so am I. And we have a lot in the next hour for you, including details on that that best before date. You know, when you look at your food and it says best before date, those are just recommendations.
Do you like? How do you feel about that, though? Does it make you nervous? Like, are you somebody that'll still?
It depends what it is.
Yeah.
And we're going to find out a little bit more on which foods you should be careful with, more or less, and then those that you can just maybe freeze. So we're going to find out a little bit more about that at about 8:27. And Chantal Kreviazek also joins us at 8:45 to tell us what's going on with her. But we got some rain overnight.
Yeah, and in fact, even a little bit more still was falling this morning. And now you can see the sun. Ooh, it's doing its best to bust out from behind the clouds there. 13 degrees is where we're sitting right now with north-northeast winds, 10 kilometers per hour. The pressure is falling and the humidity sitting at 96%. There are some heavier clouds, as you can see, but that sun, oh, it's trying so hard. We're probably not going to see a whole lot of it today. Not here in the south anyway. We've been keeping our eye on the precipitation that's been passing passing through parts of the south, and even central Manitoba will likely be in for more of that. It'll be a brighter day across northern Manitoba, though. You got all the rain yesterday. Today, those clouds beginning to break up a little bit. Things will look a little bit brighter, but yes, it's here in the south that we've already seen some showers, and we'll likely see more throughout the day today, especially through central Manitoba. That's where the heaviest of today's rain is likely to fall, and that'll continue through the day, even into the overnight hours. Now, we've got these heavier clouds, more scattered precipitation for today, and then the heavier clouds are pretty much going to blanket the province through Saturday. Sunday is the day that we could really get soaked, seeing plenty more rain moving in, both in the overnight hours of Saturday, but then steady throughout the day on Sunday as well. So brace yourself for a solid soaking by the end of the weekend, and a slide in these temperatures as well. We've been so spoiled with mid-20s, and we'll likely still get there for today, but cooling slightly for the weekend, 14 degrees. That's normal for this time of year, but we're even going to drop further from that in the early part of next week. We'll see the sunshine returning, but it's only dropping for a couple of days. Latter part of the weekend, temps will be on the rise again. And our art today, after the rain, we can expect to see the rainbow, and thanks to Aurora for today's art. Love this, and we'd love to see more of it. So keep your pictures coming, please, to Winnipeg Weather at ctv.ca.
We're hearing from the Manitoba minister at the center of a political controversy. Families Minister Nahanni Fontaine spoke out about recent incidents at her constituency office. In September, Fontaine's constituency office caught fire a few days after someone smashed in the windows. There were no injuries. However, her staff is now working in the legislative building. It's not the only MLA office to get hit. MLA Bernadette Smith's office has also been hit by 4 fires since the start of August. Fontaine says Manitoba is seeing a disturbing shift toward political violence.
I do think that it is a longer conversation about this shift that we have seen politically. The risk to politicians, the risk to public servants who do this work, and it's a broader conversation on what we need to do to ensure that we are safe doing the jobs that we were elected to do.
On Wednesday, dozens of people gathered outside the Manitoba legislature calling for Fontaine's resignation because of a post she shared in the wake of the fatal Charlie Kirk shooting. Meanwhile, the Manitoba government says it's eyeing a budget increase for security systems at constituency offices. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer is visiting a Manchester synagogue after a deadly attack on Yom Kippur.
And so I promise you that I will do everything in my power to guarantee you the security that you deserve, starting with a more visible police presence protecting your community.
Greater Manchester police say one of the 2 victims in the attack was hit by police gunfire as they shot the attacker. 2 Jewish men were killed when a man drove a car at members of the public before stabbing people. 3 other people are in hospital. 1 person is being treated for a non-life-threatening gunshot wound. The attacker, a British citizen of Syrian descent, was shot dead by police. 3 other suspects have been arrested. A dire warning for Canada Post. The Canadian Federation of Independent Business says the Crown Corporation risks losing nearly 2/3 of its small business customers if the strike continues.
More and more businesses every single day that the strike continues are doing the same. I got to tell you, for Canada Post workers and the future of the corporation itself, that makes the reform job way, way harder.
The organization says 13% of small businesses stopped using Canada Post after the last strike, and nearly 2/3 said they would do the same if it happened again. The Federation is urging the federal government to step in to end the strike. Last year's strike cost small businesses more than $1 billion. Here's what's happening now on the St. James Bridge. Looks like traffic is pretty light over here. No issues to tell you about at this point in the drive. If you have any traffic tips to share, text them to us, please, at 10400. Let's go back to Joseph now, who's been hanging out outside. I guess you took that gourd off your head.
I did, Rochelle. Yeah,
it
was getting a little heavy, actually. No, I did not drop it.
Good for you.
We've had a lot of fun. Thanks. Yeah, we've had a lot of fun this morning. It's been a beautiful morning for the beginning of October. Carly Gray joins us again from CPAWS. Carly, cameraman Kenny was showing this web earlier in the last segment. Looks like a fun activity planned for your Halloween hike. What are we looking at?
Yeah, so you're looking at our wishing web. It started as an inspiration from our Thanks to Nature event, where we were writing our Thanksgivings to nature around the Thanksgiving weekend. And so we ended up making a web and continuing that on for our Halloween hike. So at the end of the hike, it'll be, located right at the end. It's a loop, so the beginning and the end are in the same place. You'll be able to come, write your wish for nature, and hang it on the web to send either gratitude or thanks to the natural world.
Your organization, of course, works closely here in the province, promoting the well-being of parks and nature across the province. What's your wish, ultimately, for nature here in the province?
Yeah, so my wish would be to see more protected spaces, more green spaces, more spaces where all humans can go to connect to the natural world. We're currently urging the provincial government to make a plan for nature. So if you also have that wish, check out our action page on our CPAWS Manitoba website, and you can make that wish through our website.
When people check out this web during the hike on October 25th, they can meet a couple of bug experts, a couple of your volunteers. What are they going to be telling people?
Yeah, we have 2 amazing volunteers that'll be there providing some information on bugs. So come prepared with your questions. They'll be talking about spiders and all kinds of the amazing critters that live here in Manitoba. Speaking of those amazing critters, we want to make sure that we're protecting their habitat. So all these leaves you see on the ground are amazing overwintering habitat. So if you can leave your leaves, that's an amazing spot where all the spiders and all of those bugs can be safe for the winter time.
And it's a really good team of volunteers that help brings this all together.
Yeah, we really rely on our volunteers. We have an amazing group of people, of staff and volunteers that put this event on, and we're so excited to see all of you out on October 25th.
Wonderful. Well, appreciate your time, Carly. Of course, we're going to be on one more time here from Crescent Drive Park at 8:38. Again, the event's at Birds Hill Park for October 25th. It's going to be a great Saturday, hopefully. Stay tuned for more coverage.
Thank you, Joseph. Your morning just got a whole lot richer. We're giving away a staggering $20,000. Imagine what you could do with an extra 20 grand. A dream vacation, some home renos, paying off some bills. The possibilities are endless. Today's code word is dollar. Head to the contest page on ctvwinnipeg.ca or scan the QR code on your screen. Enter the code word dollar with your info for your chance to win CTV Your Morning Winnipeg's $20,000 giveaway. Tune in Monday for another code word. Good luck. The nice weather is the perfect time to check out the changing colors of the season. In Midwestern Ontario, the fall leaves draw thousands from all over the world. CTV's Rob Cooper reports.
Whether it's Muskoka or Algonquin Park, you don't have to look very far to find a perfect view.
We heard a lot about Algonquin Park. It will be so beautiful in the fall season. So we want to experience that one.
You like what you see so far?
Oh, yeah.
This time of year, it's all about the fall colors. People from all over the world flock to the region just to snap the perfect pic.
I'm from Germany and I want to see the fall. Just I expected. Yes. It's beautiful, the wet trees.
Staff at Algonquin Provincial Park said the colors are already at its peak for the season, a little early, partly because of the summer drought.
Yeah, so right now we're actually at 100% with 30% leaf drop. So we are at peak here in Algonquin Park, especially with our reds and oranges. Those yellows and golden colors are still to come, however.
Known as the Golden After Show, those yellows and oranges will likely appear later in the month.
So good to be up here. It's good for the soul, peace of mind, all that. But I've seen better years, but I'd rather be here.
Got up here a little later than I expected, but so far so good, and it's absolutely beautiful out here, so how could you not want to be up here?
About 1.4 million people visit the park every year. The majority of those show up during the fall season for the colors. Visitors are reminded to avoid parking next to Highway 60 for obvious safety reasons. While the colors may not be as dominant as previous years, the show is still a go until the wind and rain arrive.
Wind and rain are certainly a buzzkill. Wind and rain, of course, knock the leaves down and actually creates a shorter fall color season.
Honestly, personally, I don't really like the full red color. I prefer the color with different, let's say, yellow, orange and green and everything mixed together. It makes me feel much better.
Okay, but have you seen the colors where Joseph is this morning out at Crescent View Park? Come on. We got a lot going on right here in the city and province of Manitoba, too. All right, we're looking through the Bathfitter Live Eye. Bathfitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years. To be fair, that view is looking just a little bit gray with the heavier clouds hanging over us. But the leaves, that's what I'm talking about. So pretty and damp this morning. Yes, we had the rainfall last night. We've still seen some scattered showers this morning. Wet streets, some puddles out there this morning, but still well above seasonal temperatures at 14 degrees where we're sitting right now. That is, in fact, a seasonal daytime high. Similar Similar temperatures all throughout southern Manitoba right now. Central Manitoba a little bit cooler in those single digits, and then there's northern Manitoba. Ooh, yeah, chilly. Thompson, not even at the freezing mark, -2 for you. 0 degrees over in Gillam. Most other places are at least on the plus side of freezing. But it's going to be a brighter day across northern Manitoba after the rain fell for you yesterday. So mix of sun and cloud up north. It's central and southern Manitoba with the extra clouds and that scattered precipitation. You can see it showing up here on the satellite image. And we might be seeing more of that off and on through the day today. 15 degrees, though, as we're sending kids into the classrooms. They'll be getting settled up to 23 degrees by the time they're headed outdoors for recess time. Lunchtime, feeling good, but even more so after school, although by then some scattered showers are possible once again. 25 degrees, though, well above normal and similar to the temperatures that we've been experiencing through most of this week, but it all comes to an end today. The weekend, a little bit cooler, a little bit cloudier, too, and a little bit soggier, especially through Sunday. Beginning Saturday night, some heavier, steadier rain will wrap up the weekend, and then temperatures dropping off another couple degrees, only to see them rebound again as we're looking through the latter part of next week. So it will be warming up again, plenty of sunshine ahead. We're taking a break right now, but we'll be back with Your Morning Winnipeg.
Elon Musk says sales of Tesla vehicles are back up. Tesla reported car deliveries jumped 7% in the latest quarter after plunging for most of the year. However, consumers were also able to take advantage of a $7,500 tax credit before it expired on September 30th. And the tech rally around the world continues, unabated with news of another round of major AI deals and partnerships. Japan's Hitachi and OpenAI have teamed up on energy and related infrastructure, and Fujitsu has expanded its collaboration with NVIDIA. This comes just a day after OpenAI's valuation topped $500 billion. Well, lower interest rates are helping to fuel home sales in the Greater Toronto Area. That's according to the Toronto Regional Real Estate Board. Sales were up 8.5% compared to last year. In Vancouver, home sales were up 1.2% in September. Analysts say the Canadian housing market has been under pressure in recent years due to interest rates and policy shifts, but there is potential for further improvement in the months ahead. And those are your morning business headlines for BNN Bloomberg. I'm Lindsay Biscaya.
Attention. Something amazing was happening outside our classroom window. We all looked out. It was snowing. Do you see? The snowflakes were huge, like frisbees or dinner plates or watermelons.
The Manitoba Theatre for Young People is opening up its 2025-26 season with a production titled Gather. The story explores the importance of gathering with others after a deep freeze hits a community, forcing residents to stay indoors with no outside connection. Joining us now to tell us more about the Canadian premiere of MTYP's latest production is the co-playwright of Gather, Julia Lederer. Good morning, Julia.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us. And I love how it's sort of portrayed in that video that we just saw, you know, the community and the snowstorm that hits. Tell us a little bit about what's happening in this story.
Yeah, so Gather takes place in a town, a small town with a very engaged community. Okay. And there is a massive snowstorm in the middle of May. And suddenly everyone unexpectedly has to spend all their time inside because it's too cold and dangerous. Okay. And spend all their time separately inside. And so the play is sort of centered around what that feeling is like and how people change and what's challenging about it. And then the act of coming back together after it and what that's like to become a community again and celebrate that. And the moments you've lost and also the appreciation you've gained. Yeah. As well for one another.
It feels like we experienced that during COVID. Is that what has inspired this story?
Yes. So the play premiered in Chicago at Filament Theater in 2022 in March. And it was their first playback after COVID. So it was the first time that, like for me as a writer, I got to be in a rehearsal room again, which was something I didn't know if I'd ever get to experience at that point. And it was created with youth collaborators, so kids who are ages sort of 5 to 12. and began engaging with them about how they were feeling coming out of COVID. What had they experienced? What didn't we know that they'd experienced? And what had been challenging about that? And what did they want to talk about? But my co-playwright, Julie Ritchie, and I, neither of us wanted to write a COVID play. Like, that was the last thing we wanted to do. We wanted to celebrate community instead, but also be honest about how we were feeling as a community. And so the play came from that experience, but is very much about themes of isolation and loneliness and friendship and what we feel like we need and how we're wired to be connected to other people, but sometimes life can make that challenging for a myriad of reasons. And also when you're suddenly able to come back together after a long time apart, that's also challenging. There's an adjustment there. There's anxiety and a need to be accepted, and you have to sort of build that sense of communication again after you've experienced such big things separately.
It sounds like a big issue, a big feelings kind of story, but there's moments of laughter. There's lots of things that really make you feel joyful in this production. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, one of the other goals of the play was, like, can we just have the best time in a theater? Like, we haven't gotten to be in a theater, and so can we just, like, have a great time? Not just the actors, like everyone involved. And so joy is a huge part of it. Celebration is a huge part of it. There's a lot of magic, like theater magic. And the hope is, I mean, the people in the play love living in this town, and we want the audience to love living in it as well.
Okay, so what do you want parents and families to know about this production?
That it's a theater experience where you are immediately part of the town. And so we are all in community together, and like any play, but specifically with this one, it's going to be different every time it happens. It also is going to change and grow dependent on how the audience responds to the invitations that are offered throughout the story.
Okay, well, Gather starts tonight. It runs until the 26th, so if you want more information, we have a link on our website with details on tickets. Thank you for sharing this with us. It sounds like so much fun.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, the weekend is here, but it does look like it's going to be a soggy one and a little bit cooler than this gorgeous stretch of above seasonal temperatures that we've been enjoying through most of this week. With the heavier clouds right now, though, it is still 14 degrees, and that in itself would be a normal daytime high. So we're still winning in that regard. Northeast winds 8 kilometers per hour, the pressure falling and the humidity sitting at 95%. Some puddles out here this morning, some heavier clouds. There was some rain that passed through earlier this morning. It's tapered off for now, but we still may see some scattered showers throughout the day today across southern Manitoba, and some much steadier rain moving through central Manitoba that'll begin later this morning and basically continue throughout the day. Yesterday, it was northern Manitoba who dealt with all the rain, and today things will be looking a little bit brighter for you as those clouds begin to clear out somewhat, mix of sun and cloud. A little more sunshine expected across northern Manitoba. Low to mid-teen temperatures expected across northern Manitoba. Still in the mid-20s for us here in the south, though. The mercury will still rise to well above normal temperatures, more than 10 degrees above seasonal, in fact, as we're headed to a high of about 25 today here in Winnipeg. Similar temperatures throughout the south, but it will be cooling down after today, with the heavier clouds lasting all throughout the weekend and some heavier, steadier rain building up, especially Saturday night and through Sunday. We're going to slide back to more seasonal temperatures Sunday, and we could slide even further next week when the sunshine returns again. Speaking of sunshine, there it is. Beautiful, bright day contrasted against the lovely fall colors. Thanks to Kimberly for the photo. And keep them coming, please, to Winnipeg weather at ctv.ca. We're taking a break right now, but we'll be back with Your Morning Winnipeg.
Weather is brought to you by Mr. Lube Plus Tires. Same-day oil and tire changes.
Research by Second Harvest shows we waste a lot of food here in Canada. In fact, numbers show that 23% of food wasted is due to the best before dates, which may not necessarily be a good way to gauge whether your food is still good or has gone bad. So before you throw it out, we have advice on how to reduce food waste. Joining us now, our home economist, Katie Stewart, and French kiss cook, Alex Loisel. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us. Now, that best before date,
yes,
it's the law in Canada to have a best before date. Tell us a little bit about what that looks like like, and there is a difference between best before date and expiry date, right?
There is, and only foods with a shelf life less than 90 days require a best before date.
Okay.
So a lot of your canned goods, your rice, your pantry staples, they don't even need a best before date, but we have one. The best way to use a best before date is to just use it when you're shopping and then kind of forget about it and rely on your senses when it comes to judging whether your food is still good to eat.
So for example, dairy.
Dairy, yes.
It'll tell you when it's bad because you can smell it.
You can absolutely smell it. You can do, oh boy.
Yeah, it's either a good old boy or it's a bad old boy.
It will tell you. So if there are no signs, if you don't have a funky smell, if there's no lumpies or there's no discoloration, then it's perfectly fine to eat. Okay. Oftentimes, a week to 2 weeks past the best before date. So,
interesting.
Yeah, and best before dates only apply to closed products. So once you've opened it, it's all null and void anyway. Okay. So just disregard once it's in your fridge.
Okay, so you have some cottage cheese there as well. This one is past the best before date.
Past the best before date, yes.
Never been opened.
Yesterday, never been open. I mean, we all do it, right? We have these good intentions, and then.
So you're gonna open it for the first time to see how it's doing.
Okay, are you ready?
We are.
See, there was a little air buildup, but it's gonna be fine. And if I had a spoon, I would absolutely.
You'd go for it.
Go for it. Yeah.
And look at that. Color is fine. There's no mold anywhere.
Smells fine. Smells like cottage cheese.
Okay.
If you're just a little hesitant, go ahead and use it in baking. But yeah, this is perfectly
good
fine.
to go. Yeah. And you could also freeze this stuff, which we're obviously something. If you feel that you're maybe a little close, you don't want to push it, you could just throw it in the freezer, and then you get how much more time?
Once it's in the freezer, you got all kinds of time.
Okay.
Once you take it out and you thaw it, then you're back to the original, however much time you had left. You're going to need to stir it, but it'll be great.
Okay, and then, but products like this, you don't want to push it.
So the Boost meal replacement infant formula, there's 5 types of foods in Canada that have an expiry date, and you should respect that because, like if you're feeding this to your grandpa to ensure that he has those specific nutrients, you want to make sure he gets those specific nutrients. So respect the expiry date, but those are the only products that are like that.
And there is a challenge going on right now. You want to tell us about it?
Yeah, so we've partnered with lovefoodhatewaste.ca, and it's a 4-week challenge starting October 18th, I believe. And so you gotta go on their website, sign up right away. You can do it either in French or in English. And at the end of the 4 weeks, there is a survey to fill out, and you can win $500 in groceries and other prizes. So
that is fantastic. And not only do you get a chance to win $500, but you also saved money on food that you probably would have thrown out if you didn't learn all these tips from the both of you.
Exactly. It's a win-win.
It is indeed. and again, if you want more information, we have a link on our website. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Your Morning Winnipeg. Coffee is brought to you by Robin's Donuts, your favorite stop.
All right, it's 14 degrees outside this morning. That is a normal daytime high for this time of year. Not even 9 a.m., and that's where we begin with a northeast wind 8 kilometers per hour. The pressure is falling and the humidity sitting at 95%. So our temperatures, once again, well above seasonal. The conditions nowhere near as sunny as it's been for the last few days. In fact, you're probably going to find some puddles if you step outside this morning. There was some rain earlier in the overnight hours, and even still into the 7 o'clock hour, we had some brief shower activity. Across southern Manitoba, that could be the case, but across central Manitoba, even steadier rain expected for later on today. For northern Manitoba, it was yesterday that you had all of the rain. Today, things will be looking at least a little bit brighter for you. A little more sunshine expected across the north. Less so here in the south today, though, with the heavier clouds expected and still the possibility of some scattered off and on showers. 25 degrees, though. The temperature is still likely to be soaring to more than 10 degrees above seasonal. Mid-20s, stronger winds. They'll be out of the east, at times gusting to 40 kilometers per hour. Those winds shifting overnight out of the northwest, tapering off as we drop down to 14. A reminder that that's a seasonal daytime high. Normal lows 2 degrees, +2. We are still staying well above that in the overnight hours, but our daytime highs are starting to slide further from where they've been. Closer to seasonal, 18 degrees expected for tomorrow with some heavier clouds, moderate north winds, and that possibility of some showers. But by Saturday night, that's when the steadier rain is going to begin and carry us throughout Sunday with the seasonal temperatures expected and sliding even further from that when the sunshine returns next week. Only for a couple of days, though. We've got some warmer weather ahead by the middle to end of next week.
The first phase of the multi-million-dollar project to expand and modernize St. Boniface Hospital emergency room is now open to the public. Once finished, the renovations will triple the ER size. This first phase has an expanded resuscitation area, a dedicated diagnostic imaging suite with a new CT scanner and X-ray machine, and an expanded waiting room and triage area. There's also new amenities said to improve patient and staff experience at the hospital while maximizing functionality and flexibility. Construction began in April 2022 under the Stephenson government with a then budget of $141 million, $10 million of which came from the St. Boniface Hospital Foundation. According to the Winnipeg Regional Health Authority, the next phase, which involves renovating the existing emergency department facility, will be finished and operational by 2026. Once completed, over 18,000 square feet of existing space will be renovated and 86,000 square feet in new construction will be added, tripling the ER size. Despite the added capacity, some are asking if there will be enough healthcare workers to staff it. The WRHA says St. Boniface Emergency Department nurse vacancy rate fell drastically from 24.3% to 7.3% between August 2024 to August of 2025. But on the physicians' ends, numbers from Doctors Manitoba in August shows that while the province has a record number of licensed physicians practicing, Manitoba still has the second lowest number per capita in all of Canada. The owners of this giant corn maze near Sacramento, California, want visitors to get lost.
Everything is done by hand. We do not use AI. We're really proud that we do this ourselves. And we start with the theme and the design that we want in the maze. We want to communicate something fun and exciting. And then we build our pathways around that.
Cool Patch Pumpkins obviously takes pride in what they do, and every year they switch their elaborate mazes up with a new theme. This year the theme is meant to honor farmers. Cool Patch Pumpkins have earned 2 Guinness World Records in the past, in 2007 and 2014 for the world's largest corn maze. We want you to meet a man whose journey in life hasn't only been about reaching his destination, it's also been about making a difference along the way. CTV's Garrett Barry introduces us to the pilot who's landed right into the record books.
This pair have been a lot of places over the past month.
Sunday, we only have, I think, an hour and a half flight to.
But this layover is a record setter. After their 10-hour flight from the Azores in Portugal to St. John's, Ed Galkin and his team believe he's become the oldest aviator to cross the Atlantic in a single-engine airplane, a 1976 Cessna.
We don't find it boring. I'm up there, I look around, I look down, and I say, boy, it's great being up here. It's a big ocean, and a lot of problems that you think you have, you really don't have it.
It's not just for the history books. This journey is a fundraiser for the Rotary Club's work in taking on polio around the world. The second one in a series that's already raised millions for the cause.
We've seen the greatness of Rotary and all these other organizations united together to end polio. So we don't have hope. More importantly, we believe we are seeing the end of polio.
Their friendship is a new one. These men spent just a few hours on the phone and meeting before setting off on this 5-week trip together in one of the smallest airplanes you'll ever find.
We definitely didn't have too much difficulty handling each other.
We've never been at a loss of words about what to talk about or tell jokes about. And sometimes I get irritable and sometimes he gets irritable. And usually within minutes, we're off talking about something else.
It's Ed's second world record. He's also believed to be the oldest to navigate the globe in a single-engine aircraft.
Well, I guess I'm number 1.
He says if conflict and unrest subsides around the world, he might consider an around-the-world journey one more time. Garrett Barry, CTV News, St. John's.
Taking a look now at the current traffic situation along Donald Street. Looks like things are clearing up quite nicely over here. No issues to tell you about. If you see any problems in traffic, text them to us, please, at 10400. Here's a look at your gas prices. The Canadian average is $1.36. The provincial average is at $1.29. In Winnipeg, $1.27. And the lowest price in the city is $1.20. All this info is on gasbuddy.com.
The Price at the Pump is brought to you by the Kidney Foundation. Help by donating your car today.
For Q of the Day, we wanted to know, what are your tricks for saving money on food? Marlene suggests making your meat become 3 meals. A small roast can be roast, then stir fry, then soup. Be more creative. And fruit that's too ripe can become a smoothie. Good ideas. Leslie shops by flyer and buys in bulk. She says, if it's not on sale, I don't get it. Louise says, our trick is altering the food you eat. We changed from beef to pork. Shop flyers for best deals and make home-cooked meals instead of eating out. Blair says his trick is freeload off your parents. That's a good way to save money. Thanks so much for your responses. Let's go now to Joseph Bernacki. He's been hanging out in the wilderness all morning long. Good morning.
Good morning, Rochelle, and good morning, Manitoba. Yeah, we've had a lot of fun this morning here with CPAWS in Crescent Drive Park. Carly and Deb have been 2 gracious hosts for us this morning. Pleasure to have you on for one more conversation.
We are so happy that you came out here to be with us today, too. So again, we just want to reiterate today, there is nothing more important than getting out with your family outdoors in nature. So one of the ways we'd love for you to come do that is come join us on our spectacular hike Saturday, October 25th. 5th, Birds Hill Park from 11 till 3. You can sign up on our website, which is cpawsmanitoba.org.
We've been mentioning it all morning, Deb. It's a Halloween hike, of course. Talk to us about a couple of the activities again for a recap if people are just joining in this morning.
Yeah, so the one I'm most excited about, I am your storyteller for this hike. So I'm going to be leading you on a ghost hunt around the fire pit, which is going to be fun. I'm going to be telling some spooky stories. It's going to be great. I also wanted to point out, Manitoba, that we've had 20,000 people, over 20,000 people, join us in our nature club events and hikes the past 5 years. And I want to thank you for that. And I want to take this opportunity to also thank our volunteers and our staff, because it takes a lot of people to put this hike together. And we are super excited to have you come on out.
And Deb, it's worth mentioning it's not just this Halloween hike. You've got a hike tomorrow, of course, in Pinawa as another monthly.
We're going to Pinawa. You can go to our website. It's not too late to sign up if you want to. We have a hike at 11 a.m. and 1:30. It's going to be fun.
And Carly, it takes a lot of volunteers, as Deb mentioned, and different partners to help bring an event like this possible. Who would you like to highlight for the event happening on the 25th?
Absolutely. Partners are super incredible, and collaborating on all kinds of events are what we love to do. So we have 2 partners for this event. We once again, we have Sport en Français, so they'll be joining us on the hike, practicing French language skills and interpreting some of the trails in French as well. And then we're also partnering with Green Kids this year, which is new for us. And so they're a theater group that is going to do some character development with kids. So based on your costume, they're going to talk about how you can dive into that character and fully embody the Halloween spirit.
Before we let you guys go, best place to get more information on the Halloween hike and everything else?
Our website, www.cpawsmanitoba.org.
Wonderful. Well, again, it's going to be the last Saturday before Halloween, October 25th, at Birds Hill Park, of course, as we've mentioned a few times on the show today. For CTV Your Morning Winnipeg, have a great weekend, everyone.
You too, Joseph. Thank you. Let's go out to the rooftop. It looks like the rain has passed just for now.
Just for now, exactly. It will be a good weekend, thanks to Joseph's wishes for us, but it might be a soggy weekend, to be honest with you. We've got some heavier clouds as I'm looking off to the east. To the west, though, looking a little bit brighter. That might be a momentary thing, because we're probably going to see some heavier clouds off and on throughout the day, and may even see some more scattered showers. We've seen some this morning, and more could develop as the day goes on. But the above seasonal temperatures, we've got those to enjoy for another day. 14 degrees with a northeast wind, 8 kilometers per hour. The pressure falling and the humidity is sitting at 95%. That precipitation this morning still has this dampness to the air, a slight bit of a chill this morning, but when you compare it to a normal morning temperature of about 2 degrees, that would have a most definite chill to it. And in fact, northern Manitoba has had some pretty cool temperatures. Thompson has not even cracked the freezing mark this morning. You will eventually. And in fact, for northern Manitoba, you'll even see a little more sunshine. I know you had the soggy stuff yesterday, but things will look a little bit brighter for you today. Whereas central and southern Manitoba, that's where the heavier clouds will be today. And some scattered precipitation here across the south, but steadier rain throughout central Manitoba for today. We could be seeing more of that rain as we're moving through the weekend, with heavier clouds expected Saturday. By Saturday night, rain beginning. That'll take us all through Sunday as those temperatures slowly and steadily slide back to a more seasonal 14 degrees by the time we're wrapping up the weekend. Today, still mid-20s on tap, but cooling with a soggy weekend ahead. Next week, we'll get that sunshine back, but it will be a little bit cool. Taking a break right now, but we'll be back with Your Morning Winnipeg.
Have a news tip? When you see news happening, let CTV News Winnipeg know. Text your tips, pictures, and videos to 10400. That's 10400. Message and data rates may apply.
What do Taylor Swift, Back to the Future, and James Cameron's Avatar have in common? They're all heading to movie theaters in October. CNN's Rick Damigella gives us a preview.
Hey, it's Taylor.
October is turning into another crowded month at movie theaters. October 3rd sees Taylor Swift taking over big screens with the official release party for her new album, The Life of a Showgirl. Also hitting theaters that day are the re-release of Avatar: The Way of Water and Dwayne Johnson in The Smashing Machine.
It's in glorious Technicolor.
There are 16 wide and limited release movies hitting theaters on the 10th. Among them are Kiss of the Spider-Woman, Roofman, and Tron Ares.
Breach detected. Lockdown initiated.
The 17th sees The Astronaut landing in cinemas, along with Black Phone 2 and Good Fortune. The 24th sees The Boss getting the biopic treatment in Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere, debuting alongside the comedy Blue Moon.
I'm from the future. I came here in a time machine that you invented. Right, go!
And arguably, the biggest movie heading to theaters on Halloween isn't a horror flick, but the 40th anniversary re-release of Back to the Future. In Hollywood, and wondering why they didn't just release it on the 26th to coincide with the dates inputted on the DeLorean time machine, I'm Rick Damigella.
A Winnipeg-born artist is getting some national recognition. Chantal Kreviazuk is set to be inducted into the Western Canadian Music Awards Hall of Fame. Adding to that, she will also be performing at the Canadian Songwriters Hall of Fame's Legends Gala alongside other Canadian songwriting greats like Tom Cochrane, Katie Lang, and Murray McLaughlin. Joining us now is Winnipeg's very own Chantal Kreviazuk. Good morning, Chantal.
Good morning, Rochelle. How are you?
I'm well. Thank you so much for doing this. Now, congratulations on this huge honor. Describe to us how you're feeling today.
Oh, gosh, that's such a loaded question. I mean, there's so much going on, right? Yeah. My son called and said, can you call, my teacher and tell her I'm late, a tree fell and I can't drive. I'm a mom, and I'm looking at what's going on in the world, and I have so many things going on, and so I think it reminds me of how lucky I am that I've had, your first luck is where you're born and the family you're born into, and so I am very lucky, but there's still stuff to be done, is always my thing, and I have two big projects I'm rolling out right now that I've been working on for a long time. So yeah, I'm just focused on moving forward.
Tell us about these projects. Can you tell us a little bit about what you're working on right now?
Yeah, I didn't. I'm going to be dropping these songs that I have collaborated on or sang or wrote on for other big global superstars, and I'm going to sing them myself now.
Okay, and you know what? When you say that, I actually noticed one of your Instagram posts where you talk about some of the other songs that you've been involved with writing. Tell us a little bit about what those songs are, because some of your fans might not even realize that you were involved with some of these big songs that are part of mainstream music right now.
Yeah, so we thought we might release this one called Feel This Moment, it goes, one day when the light is glowing. A lot of people know that one. It's Christina Aguilera sang it with Pitbull. And then all of a sudden this other one that I did a dozen or so years ago with Drake called Over My Dead Body. It's like a pretty big song in hip hop. I wrote it and sang it and produced it, and so I've sort of talked about that one on TikTok and Instagram, and that one just took off like quicker. It's weird with algorithms and so on. So we've decided we're gonna drop that one first. So we put a pre-save up, and that's coming down the pipe, I think around mid-October, October 17th.
So songwriting, what has it brought to your personal life and to your talent, like how you express yourself through songwriting?
Well, I think that there's a through line to me in life about needing an outlet, right? Everybody needs an outlet. And for me, I just got really lucky that I found that in songwriting. And so at sort of every stage of development of my life, from being a little baby basically and singing to my mom when she put me to bed, to, you know, feeling heartbreak as a teen, and, you know, all these things, like, I always was able to go to the piano and like just like be, you know, sad girl or mad girl or happy girl with the piano and singing and writing, and everything just sort of took shape for me with ease because I already played and I loved music. My brothers, my cousins, my neighbors influenced so much of my musical taste. And in Winnipeg, I really do believe that because it's a harsh climate, we love our music. Like, we really love our music. And so, yeah, I think that it became this sort of emotional outlet for me, and then it just sort of overwhelmed the narrative of my life. And that's how I became a professional songwriter. So there's always this sort of like battle, this conflict, and this internal conflict for me to enjoy it and feel like it's my outlet, and then also understanding constantly that it's also the way that I survive. You know? Yeah. So it's been really interesting, but I do really still love the creative process so much.
Well, we love hearing you going at it on your piano. Indeed, we love your talent, we love your singing, and we love your music writing. Thank you so much, Chantal, for your time. Take care, and we'll see you soon.
See you soon.
All right, we still have a few extra clouds hanging over us, and we may see them throughout the day today, but these temperatures are still above seasonal. In fact, a normal daytime high would be 14 degrees, and that's where we're sitting already. Northeast winds 8 kilometers per hour with the pressure falling and the humidity sitting at 95%. We've seen some scattered showers this morning, and we still may see more throughout the day today. A look at the satellite image, and you can see all the activity just across the most southern stretch. What was over us starting to move further to the east, but there's more coming behind it, and more yet that'll be moving through much of central Manitoba. Eventually, we will get some. I'll move this way so we can see. Eventually, we will get some better weather, though, at least on the other side of the weekend. So today, 25 degrees. That still keeps us well above seasonal, but we're starting to see a change up in the conditions with the heavier clouds, the precipitation, and clouds through most of the weekend with some heavier rain Saturday night and into Sunday. Then the sunshine comes back next week, but we start out with a little bit of a cool down. The temperatures continuing to slide, starting out well below seasonal, or at least a few degrees below seasonal, but they'll rebound again, and the middle of the week to end of the week, we're seeing that sunshine and the heat back again.
Rooftop arrangements provided by Lacoste Garden Center. Salon services provided by Essentique Spa Salon.
We're going to send you off into the weekend with some fun video. A woman gets an unpleasant surprise when she cuts into the first watermelon that she grew.
What am I looking at here? Guys, this is a pumpkin. It's not a watermelon.
No, that's right. Her first ever watermelon is actually a pumpkin. She's very disappointed when she realized she grew a gourd instead, but lucky for her, it's pumpkin season. She looks really disappointed. Onlookers were treated to quite the sight as a family of black bears explored a park in BC. A viewer sending us this video of a mama bear and 3 cubs playing around Thursday morning. Why is it sideways? I don't know. They even climb a tree before heading down a creek. The furry family delighting spectators and serving as a reminder of the wild neighbors we share our backyard with.
Did the bear do the camera work too?
I don't know. Looks like it. Pregnancy announcements are exciting. Sometimes it's too much for some, though. Oh my God. Laura literally fell to the ground when her sister told the family she was expecting. She's not the one having a baby.
Thank goodness for that.
Yeah. Have a good weekend. We'll see you Monday.